I muted myself. There we go. Great. It is conversion day or conversion night. Uh, we're plugging along. We're nearly finished Adventure 2, actually. Looking back through my notes, I say nearly finished. We're nearly finished the stream work, so to speak. All the back end stuff that I do, just cleaning everything up, making that look nice and pretty for a doc file. Still needs to get done, obviously. And then there's like the third step, which I have not even done with the first adventure, which is putting it in a nice, easy to read format, like a PDF for GMs. And I'd love to get that out for people. But, oh boy, busy. Speaking of which, I'm unshaven. I'm disheveled. Like I mentioned on the design stream last Thursday, I had to run off to the countryside for the weekend. We had I called it on the stream. I called it like a funeral, but it was more like funerary rites. That's not the right word. I, despite living in Japan, don't know so much about Japanese culture. I'm still learning day by day. But we went to go see the temple where the family's I believe he is the great great grandfather of my wife, where he is been honored, and then later to the family shrine where we left some tea and some mochi. So yeah, and a weekend out in the countryside turns into like a whole event, and now I was, presiding over internal family politics and the like. Always fun, especially being the guy that speaks like half Japanese, where I'm just like, I think I'm following along. You're angry at you, and I gotta fix this somehow. Yeah. So let's talk. Let me take a look at what we've got today. First off, we do have the drive still nice and set up. We've got our rough file of what we've got for the Bullywug Gambit put together. And you can see that I started doing some of the cleanup work. I would have loved to have gotten more, but that cleanup work, I think I accomplished everything my own Thursday morning. And this is, I'd love to get more. Something I've been saying, and I want to say it again and again and again. I'm going to keep probably saying it again and again. Don't make this like huge metric for what perfect is, and just getting something done in a day should be your metric for success. Like, I did it. I managed to, what did I do here? Fix some of this really, really strange wording and like design choices that don't kind of grok into second edition throughout the first few pages of the adventure. Took care of part one. What do we do here? Oh, gave a little hints and nudges to essentially skipping over one encounter is all it does. Getting players to hunt down these sea charts, which will let them get past this coral reef maze, so to speak, that'll get them into Kraken's Cove. I believe, the thing is, this frustrates me. I'm going to go back here. I'm already going on a tangent before I'm getting started. Kraken's Cove is a really weird and interesting spot, and it's written poorly, or it's not explained, or maybe I'm dumb. So essentially, it says here how to get to Kraken's Cove. You can't. Kraken Cove serves smugglers well. The entrance is a secluded rift in the coastal cliffs that line the eastern shore. However, many people know about this. It's just you can't get in there. So it has to be known so that players can kind of look it up and find it, gather information. They could talk to a guy. So it can be discovered by players to give them that sort of level of autonomy. Great. But then it can't be like, if everybody knows about it, why is it a good smuggling place? It's a good smuggling place because you can't get in there without sea charts. And they mention it sort of offhandedly. None of the ships players have access to can approach the cliffs. If they're making their own way, they need to make a series of a dozen DC 30 profession sailor checks. can't be done. We just eliminated that because that's going back to the very simple design principle of if it's not possible, don't make the players roll for it. If it's too easy, don't make the players roll for it. Don't make the players roll for something that is meant to be impossible. Sure, it's a very interesting story when the one guy around the table rolls 12 natural 20s in a row, but it's also not fun for 99.99% of the groups out there. It's just like, but why did I roll if it can't be done? Without charts, and this is very important. It doesn't say, like, if you have charts, you can get past this. It sort of says, let's see. Here we go. As a result, only sailors who know the region or possess charts of the waters dare approach. These two things, you have to make all these checks, and you have sea charts, could be together. You have sea charts, and you need these sailing checks. And that would, to me, make sense. But again, it goes back to, why mention any of this design-wise? Because it's just like, oh, we went out and got the charts, and it's still useless. So I may be taking artistic liberties here and saying, okay, if the players find out about the sea charts with this gather information or knowledge nature check, this recall knowledge nature check, what did I say here? Kraken's Cove is a prime spot for smugglers, as the coral reefs there make it nearly impossible to reach without intimate knowledge of the region or a set of sea charts, which can often be quite pricey. I haven't priced out what sea charts are going to be yet, because I like to save price, like all gold conversions till the very end. But I want it to be, okay, hey, you did very well. You got that crit success. Perhaps you are invested into diplomacy or into nature. So yeah, you've earned this little extra tidbit of information. You can't get directly to Kraken's Cove. However, you could get sea charts that could get you there. But if we go back to sea charts don't give you anything, you know, they're going to put you back to that dozen DC 30 checks. Well, then what's the point of giving out that knowledge? So instead, this says without charts. The safest option is to go up this cliff tops and south along the narrow path that reaches the cove itself. So essentially, cove's down here. All right, there's a safe option. We'll land over here. We'll go up the cliffs and then go down this way, which would expose us. And this is the way that players are intended to go. So what I've done is I wrote in a workaround, essentially, that I feel like should reward players for this knowledge and coming prepared. So as they go up, they get attacked by, even before they reach Kraken's Cove, they get attacked by the savage monkeys, which we made the stat block for here. I gave them the death throws. I'd forgotten to give that originally. Still a few things where I'm like, we could change some stuff. Did I make notes about it? I don't know. Didn't make any notes about it. Our savage monkey swarm, just to kind of introduce players to something's up. Again, let's say players have bought sea charts. I've talked so much about the sea charts, let's say this. If they're making the approach by sea, if they're making their own way to Kraken's Cove, they find the way entirely impassable without possessing sea charts. Continuing on without them only puts the rowboat at risk, and a maze of reef destroys the boats before long. DC 20 sailing lore check manages to save the boat, the progress is still impeded. Only a critical success manages to see the rowboat through to Kraken's Cove, area K1. PCs who do possess a set of sea charts for Kraken's Cove will also manage to make it to this area, but without having to deal with the reef maze. I'm now thinking maybe I should still make a sailing lore check that they would need, even if they have the sea charts, but make it so that you don't need that critical success to get through. I'm just going to put a little note here. Where's my beautiful colors to make a me note? Should players still need to make a sailing lore check even if they have sea charts? Okay, there. How's it going? Hey man, I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Scrub Lord? I feel like I've immediately insulted you by calling you your name. I'm doing good. I'm doing excellent today. I'm feeling a little silly because I plan to bring a snack on the stream today because I'm hungry. It's 10:30 in the morning here in Japan, and this weekend, I picked up a really tasty snack from the countryside, and it's maybe a little more unusual than most snacks. Doing okay. Working on a character for my Tian Sha campaign my GM is running. That is awesome. Oh my god. I can't wait for the Tian Sha books. I am currently running Fist of the Ruby Phoenix, and I love my players, but we have so many like, I'm from Absalom. Aw. Darn it. I was so excited to get into the setting. Where are you from? Yeah, well, I'm from Tian Sha as well. Where are you from? The mountains where I never interacted with any of the culture. Interesting. Cool, I'd love to hear more about your character. Speaking of Tian Sha, so I do live in Japan. That feels like a weird Tian Sha fantasy Asia in Japan, so I don't know. This is a snack I was going to bring on stream, but I forgot to unshell them and thus cannot cook them up. These are essentially, everyone knows edamame, I think, at this point. It's gotten popular in America. This is soda ame. You look at my idea. He's literally homebrewing what he thinks the word. Yeah, I think in fairness, it's not too difficult. In terms of, depending on what you want, I suppose. I have a buddy out there that's like, there needs to be a samurai class, 100%. How dare there not be a samurai class? I'm like, really? I feel like I'm poorly unshelling this just to show off my beans, show off my beans on stream. But they're like, I don't think I want to eat this uncooked. But they're like edamame beans. Yeah, and here's why I really don't want to eat them. My father-in-law told me, yeah, that's essentially what I said. If you're going to make a fighter, a samurai, take a fighter, go some special feats, take some specialized feats, focus on katana, focus on the daikyu bow, focus on quick draw feat. Anyway, beans. Bean chat is pretty much over, but I was going to cook these up, toss them in some garlic and some salt, just snack on that, but I forgot to unshell them like an idiot. I've got so many beans. What a very strange direction I've gone with that. Actually, speaking of which, we run a conversions, not a conversion. This is the conversion stream. On Thursday nights, we do homebrew nights. And my buddy who was saying, we should just make a class, was asking me to make a class on stream. And I was like, oh my god. This is a discussion, obviously, for the homebrew stream. But, when you say, I want to make a class, you're saying that there's some mechanic that the other classes, or there's some vibe, some theme that the other classes aren't quite nailing. And I feel like samurai, and I know people disagree with me, is sort of a mechanic, it's a vibe, it's a theme that we already have covered by, fighters. Or even, if, I don't know, I haven't watched that many Kurosawa films, and I don't know any samurai in real life, but I feel like they're fighters. That's just me. We do have, speaking of, we've got a YouTube, we've got our homebrew and design videos, which get a lot more views than the conversion ones, understandably, because this is a 4-hour long me talking about 3.5 content in just Pathfinder 2nd Edition. But yeah, if you want to check that out, I'm Azure. I don't even know. My wife tried to look it up. She's like, can't find it. Admittedly, checking Japanese YouTube, so we're tiny. I don't think I'd ever make it a unique class. Homebrew subclass, yeah. Homebrew gunslinger subclass for a Wild West. That sounds fun. Yeah, I think, for instance, I might be considered insane for this. We could use some class dedications. I'm not even sure. Like, what could a fighter give up to make it so distinct from the fighter, but still keep that fighter vibe and all those fighter feats? Is a good question. I think that's much more likely that if I'm going to do something on stream, class-based, class-wise, it'll be a class dedication. As a matter of fact, that's what we're doing with the the Wizards and Drow homebrew. Drow because everyone's very upset about them leaving, and I'm not at all upset about it, so I have no horse in the race, so I can homebrew to my heart's content. We're going to put together a class dedication for Wizards this Thursday. Cool. Yeah, and the plans for that is we're going to take all this stuff we're converting, we're going to take all that homebrew stuff, we're going to put it into PDFs, toss them onto Pathfinder Infinite for pay what you want, really recommending like $1 at most. You know, get it for free since everybody can see this stuff on stream anyway or on the YouTube. Whatever. Enjoy. All right. I'm trying to look. Checking my notes that I have for the day. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Cool. I'm so happy to have you here, Scrub Lord. Again, I don't mean to be rude by calling you by your name. All right. We made some savage monkeys. Oh, that's one of the big things we're doing today. Big thing, the thing that can be skipped over if players bring along their C charts, which will probably price out to be a little pricey, is we have this really cool setting, this really cool like set piece. Players are coming down from the cliff faces to go into this Kraken's Cove, and if they have to balance across this kind of rickety bridge, we can see a picture of it. We can see the picture of the bridge, sort of, here. So they're coming along this bridge, right up here, and balancing along it. And when they do, they reach this midway point, one of these ships unmoors, the mooring snaps on it, it burns away, and it goes and collides with the wall. And the players then have to get out. I believe in 3.5 it is represented by a reflex. No, here we go. A spot or listen check to notice that something's happening, and then a balance check across the entire thing to avoid being knocked off. Instead, what I'd like to do is turn this into a simple hazard. Okay, we have going down, acrobatics checks to balance across, or whatever kind of solution the players come up with. Maybe even, put in a little crafting thing. Oh, I got a lot to read here. I'm gonna read all that in a moment. I'm gonna quick talk about the hazard, and then go back and talk about this because I like talking. I do 4 hours of it and forgot water like an idiot. So we're gonna turn that into a simple hazard. Essentially, players are gonna be going down. That part will not be the hazard. When they reach that midway point, then we'll have the hazard hit. The thing is, hazards typically have disables. And I'm not sure of a way to disable this from... It actually could be that stabilizing the bridge beforehand will be that disable, so to speak. Because the real hazard is the boat's going to hit, and if you're not in that section hit... what is it here? When it destroys the center of... Yeah. If you're not in that section you hit, you still have to make this balance check or fall. So we'll work on that hazard. It's going to be probably a tricky piece of design to do. All right, let's see. Right now, Gunslinger subclass, if I take it, is the Vigilante. Cool. Their whole shtick is they can allow an enemy to take a reaction on their turn for a quick duel. Nice. If either the Gunslinger or the enemy, they give a free attack reaction, take damage. Free attack reaction. Did I miss something? Hold on. Okay, for a quick duel. The other Gunslinger or the enemy, they give it a free attack to take damage. And the free attack to... Okay, so essentially... Hey, you and me, we're going to fight, and you can use your reaction to hit me, okay? And you get a bonus damage to do so. But I will also get that opportunity to do so. That's cool. It's like a little sneak attacky kind of design space. I know it doesn't feel like that, but I always consider like bonus damage to be sneak attack design space, in that if you build like a subclass around it, you build around the idea that damage is going to be slightly above that average damage. Whoa, there are my hands. Slightly above that average damage because it's not going to be as consistent as you want. That's just my thoughts on it. I think that's very interesting. And I think that's one of the fun things to homebrew is taking a look at these paths, these subclasses as they get called a lot, and toying around with them. Oh, that's right. I was trying to think. I was like, I know I spent like several weeks on one. I took the monks. I made a guide for drinking. It was the guide to alcohol in Galarian, which was a new I forget what they're called for alchemists. Discovery, not discovery, but your study of alcohol. And essentially, you would brew a bunch of alcohol. I made a whole bunch of new alcohols, and addiction and dealing with that. And then I did Drunken Barbarian, and we did more feats for the Stumbling Stance Monk, which was a lot of fun to do. And I'm probably going to bring that back maybe when the remaster's done for funsies. In the margins, it had a little clarifier on both attack land. The gunslinger's attack deals damage first. You need to kill the strategy. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I think that could be a lot of fun. And this is obviously separate from the Tian Sha. You're doing a Wild West thing. We've got, Scrub, if you are new to this stream or new to seeing my face, this is not a part of it, the Discord we run, but I run a play-by-post Pathfinder 2e. Well, it's not just Pathfinder 2e, but a play-by-post Discord server where we run a lot of Pathfinder 2e. And every so often, I just like to talk about the server. It's really fun. I think I'm running 7 games there right now. Fist of the Ruby Phoenix, Strength of Thousands, Fall of Plaguestone, and 4 Pathfinder Society scenarios. Speaking of Stumbling Stance, yeah, oh my god, Stumbling Stance is really good, and it's one of those things that it's one of these things that when I bring it up with people, I get either 1 or 2 reactions. Oh, Stumbling Stance, that's an interesting, I hadn't thought about. That seems like that could be a good stance. And the other group that just goes, oh yeah, that's the strong one. That's the one you really want to use. Yeah, I feel like if you really know monks, and I'm not that metagamey person, I'm not that like, my character has to be the strongest. Stumbling Stance is really powerful. It's incredibly good. I believe it, does it get backstab or is it, oh, I'm going to look it up now. Can't stop myself. Stumbling Stance. Despite having, yeah, it's got backstabber. Ooh. Anything with backstabber, I love it. Yeah, and I just, I love a good, I'm essentially a rogue, level 2 dedication of getting, I'm not a power gamer. I swear to God I'm not, but everybody I play with is like, you seem to understand all the power gamer stuff. Yes, I do, but I don't make power game characters. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to go with it. I don't even think Stumbling Stance has, yeah, it's got Stumbling Feint, and I think that's it. It doesn't have anything too, like, crazy impressive. It's just consistent and solid and good. Yeah, I'd love to show up, actually. I don't want to go into that, but my current characters are so unmetagamey that I've got like my super high wisdom fighter that's all about combat assessment. And the first, well, of course I'll give him a reach weapon. I want to be riding on a mounted combat, and my GM next, I'm sure will watch this. I was like, yep, reach weapon on a fighter. I see where this is going. I was like, oh, I didn't mean to. I wanted to be a bad build. I wanted to be the thing that's not effective. Then immediately ruin the game by being a fighter and being awesome. Okay. All out of the way. So what I have done, if this is your first stream, I have this super, super old. Oh my god, it's not that old. I remember buying this from, I remember buying it from Barnes & Noble, and I think they're still around. November 2006. The last adventure path to appear in the Dungeon magazines. The last Dungeon magazines from 2006. First Marshall. Really, this is interesting. It's funny. You and I have a lot of similarities in because I love playing wizards and spellcasters, and yet I will say this: in the games that I play, I have 3 characters on the server. One's a fighter, one's a gunslinger, and one is finally my first wizard on the server. And before that, it was a fighter and a magus. So I mean. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say anything out loud like I need to play more characters on this server because people will hunt me down for that. I need to play less. Okay, looking at my to-do list here, and it is massive. I just got back from a trip, so I have stuff to do. What we're doing, we're taking all this 3.5. You're new to Pathfinder? You do not sound like you're new to Pathfinder. It sounds like you're somebody who knows what they're doing. So please, by all means. I think... Then again, my thoughts are always like, if anyone's like, new, old, been here for a while, it's about like telling a story and knowing what story you want to tell, and that's just like, that's a universal feeling. And I've had players that have been playing for decades that just don't get it. And someone that'll come in day one and just be the best, most amazing player. And so, you know, it's always interesting to me when someone says, I'm new to blank system, or I'm new to role-playing in general, or anything like that. Because for me, that's, it's not like a barrier at all. Hyperfixation is 100%. I mean, look what I'm doing right here. Like, all this stuff. I'm well familiar with the hyperfixations, and the fact that I had to like look up names and like I have to really figure out all this stuff what happened, and because I just felt that way that it would help me. All right, we stopped. Like I said, we nearly. If you can look at this, we've nearly finished the second adventure. If you're interested, I don't know that. This is anything that anyone's interested in. I just use the conversion string to mostly talk and enjoy myself. But we have converted the first adventure of Savage Tide. Whew! It is, 30-some pages? 31 pages! Oh my god! But we've converted everything from 3.5 over to second edition. Yeah, first game ever watched player leave the table after during set. Yeah. Yeah, I think one of my favorite older player stories. I had a buddy, I had been playing with him since high school. So we've been playing, let's see, I had come back from Japan for a trip. This is like 5 years ago, 17. So I've been playing with him about 12 years. I came back from Japan and I said, hey guys, let's do a one-shot adventure. I'm going to set it in the Mana Wastes. It's gonna be like Mad Max. There's gonna be mutants. I wrote rules for mutations, and I wrote rules for like wild magic going off and everything. And it was just gonna be a quick one shot. And my buddy messages me while I'm on the plane, coming to America from Japan, and he says, "Hey man, could you look over my math for me? My character has an intelligence score of -4." And I was like, and this is back in first edition Pathfinder. I was like, -4? You mean you have like a 4 intelligence or something? He goes, no man, -4. I added everything together and my intelligence is -4. What's that modifier? And I was like, how do you even get, you start at 10 and we're using point buy. What? So, I mean, you get out what you put in, and hyperfixation helps to get out, so to speak. You put in a lot there. All right. Today we're not doing anything super interesting, so to speak. We are looking at a few things. We're finishing up the final adventure. The second adventure concludes with this little tour of the facility, so to speak. So, for people new to the stream, and for people that are, for some reason, watching this on YouTube entirely out of order, and they decided, I'll start at, like, episode 8 and figure out what's going on. Savage Tide is really awesome adventure path about players essentially foiling the plans of Demogorgon, Demon Prince of Monsters. Is it Prince of Monsters, Prince of Demons? And his plan is, he's going to put these little shadow pearls out into the material plane, and when they are struck and blood is spilled upon them, they unleash a savage tide of an abyssal plague that turns people into their most twisted and horrible, chaotic, evil selves. And the players get wrapped up in this. And I love it because kind of the first half of the adventure path is being adventurers, sort of like picking at the edges of a mystery and not knowing what's going on, getting involved indirectly. And in our first adventure, the players meet the Vanderborn family. Have I got a... you know what? Have I got... I don't want to go too far into my image or history. I'm not sure what's in there. But I have an image of our storyline so far. Meet the Vanderborn family. They're hired by Lavinia Vanderborn, ostensibly to help get her family affairs in order. Her brother's missing. Brother blew up her family. Brother blew up their parents. Tried to steal all the money. Did steal a lot of it. Gave it all to a thieves guild, and that's essentially where the first one left off. You fight the thieves guild. You get the money back for Lavinia. Yay! Her brother's still missing, though. You might be wondering, how does this tie in with that storyline of the Abyssal Plague taking over? Well, this is where things get interesting. Second adventure, we're chasing down Vanthus Vanderborn, her brother. And turns out, he's off trying to rob some pirates for more money. What is he doing with all this money? Well, he's trying to impress a woman that you guys in book 1 already beat up, possibly killed, or if you're my players, she got away. Again, this is like 15 years ago that I played this, so my memory with a grain of salt. Oh, these beans. Grain of salt made me think about eating these beans. So you show up there, and Vanthus has unwittingly discovered one of these shadow pearls, broken it, and unleashed the Abyssal Plague. Ah! Now, for seasoned 3.5 players, and for seasoned role players, it may just feel like a regular old dungeon crawl. Weird. A whole bunch of crazy, like, transformed pirates in this cave. We're gonna kill them, take the treasure, and that's it. Book it out of here. Not gonna ask too many more questions. And that's sort of what the adventure assumes, is the players are not too concerned. Because it kind of comes out of left field. What? They're all just crazy now? Weird. They're pirates anyway. We don't like them. Let's kill them and move on. Well, the leader of the pirates, Captain Javel, I've forgotten, Harless Javel, is like, haha. I know that Vanthus tried to double-cross me. I sent an assassin, not really an assassin, her second mate, to go kill Vanthus at his house. Except Vanthus doesn't live there anymore. And the woman that hired you, Lavinia, does. She has nothing to do with this. So, essentially, this first mate's going to be showing up with a gang of bullywugs, or, I've forgotten what they're called in, second edition. Anyway, boggards, there we go. With a gang of boggards, and they've taken over the manor. And this is a weird inversion of the dungeon crawl. Because typically, you go into a dungeon, you don't know what's in there, and you're like opening doors, trying to figure out, getting the layout. You know this place. As a GM, I would absolutely, and did at the time, hand out the map of the manor to the players. I said, you guys lived here, you worked here, you know this place. What do you want to explore? So a lot of the trappings of the typical dungeon are gone, but we still have a lot of interesting things. So things we need to do today. First off, love 3.5 maps, where it's like, we got to get this accurate. We're not. You'll notice every second edition map, it's always aligned so that it is. This is going to be our north, always. Not all. I shouldn't say that. I think Age of Ashes had a few that were not, and I think maybe the Slithering did as well. I should not have knowledge like that. But this tries to get it as accurate as possible. We even have the drawings of the buildings around Vanderborn Manor, because this was a James Jacobs baby. Woo! And if you don't know James Jacobs, do get to know him. Look him up on the Paizo forums. He is still active and hell of a guy. Just engaging with the community, even though they're not the friendliest on the Paizo forums. Sorry to say. This is James Jacobs' baby, which means he detailed everything about the town Sassarine. That said, this was written by Nick Logue. I don't know, who did what when it comes to this stuff. A lot of detail. So, what we're doing today, we finished off most of things. The general outline, the general flow of how this dungeon's going to go. But we have two big things that I want to do with this dungeon in particular. We've got a bunch of stat blocks we need to make. Don't love it. It takes up so much time. We've got Lorb Tub, the Bullywug chieftain's mate. We've got the chieftain himself, Cheap Lorpth. And we're essentially, these are barbarian types, fighter types. And we've got, yes, I think we've got one as... Oh, I know we didn't get there yet. I didn't get to the master bedroom. We've got Dreveraz, the second mate of the captain who was sent here to kill Vanthus, though Lavinia in truth, and Boagorg, our cleric of Dagan. So this is a very interesting one. As written, the optimal ending for this is the players don't have a fight. They will have a fight, but they will not have a very deadly fight. Essentially, you come in and you gotta be like, hey, whoa, we didn't kill your boss. Vanthus isn't here. We're looking for Vanthus. Be cool. We got the captain's earring. We don't want any trouble. And then Dreveraz backs down. The Boggard, the Bullywug, does not, however. So you still have a fight here regardless. So we have to design this encounter so that it's still going to be an interesting end encounter, regardless of whether or not we have the first mate or not. Okay. And one more thing complicating things. I haven't mentioned them on the stream, on this stream, but we have the Jade Ravens, which are a mercenary group hired by the Vanderborns to protect them and their assets and the like. And they got their butts kicked. They got destroyed. Not real. I mean, they did a good job fighting. But as you go through, you can essentially discover them as secret characters. 3.5 had this, was very okay with having a lot of NPC followers. And if you look at it in video game terms, which I don't love when applying to role-playing games, but this is a good way to think of it. You go down to the basement, which you don't need to do. You can rescue the sorceress, and she'll come and help you out. And she brings with her some cantrips, but most of her spells are gone. If you go find a secret room, there's the Dwarven Druid, also low on spells, but he can help out a little bit. This gets a little trickier with PF2 design. We're adding NPCs to help the group, which doesn't happen too often. A lot of times in APs and modules, they abstract what they do to help. Oh yeah, with them there, all the players get a +1 status bonus. Or while they're there, they'll fight these guys while the players fight these things. And it makes it easier for the GM. Second edition, really thinking about how to make life easier for the GM. Because I've tried to run a combat with 20 plus NPCs, and that's not easy. And the big reason for that is second edition makes every choice very impactful. So in third edition, when you look at a character that's, let's use Dreveraz here for instance, he's got feats like Athletic, Dodge, Die Hard, Endurance, Great Fortitude, Weapon Focus, Scimitar, Weapon Specialization, Scimitar. You know what this means? 3.5? This guy's whole thing is he hits people with his scimitar. So his turn would come up and I go, attack, miss, hit, moving on. Which, 3.5, was fine. You didn't really play it for the tactical depth of combat. You played it to be the wizard to end combats in seconds. But we can't do that in second edition because that's not fun or interesting or at all in design guidelines. So if we start putting in all of these interesting characters and NPCs that the GM will have to use, it becomes a cognitive overload. So we kind of have to think about what to do with them. I want to make full stat blocks for these Jade Ravens and have them somewhere. But I want to figure out how to handle them. as I don't want to go too much against design principles. And also, it changes how we build an encounter. Because, a severe encounter at level 4 might not be as severe if there are 2 NPCs helping out. And speaking of, I brought up the Abomination Vaults PDF here. No real spoilers, I don't think. Rin Savixi, who you will, is like, she's in the player's guide there. So you get to see her right away. I want to make a stat block like this, not like, one that we've been making. Let me get out Solar Vark. Not like one of these, like, NPC monsters that we're going to murder, but a full-on, like, this is a returning character. We're going to see them a lot, so we should have more detail to what they do. So, yeah. That's one of the goals. All right. Whew. Talked for about 40 minutes. Entirely forgot my water. Entirely forgot to make myself a little snack. But that's okay. I wonder if I've got a snack on hand I can munch on. All right. I need to get some water real fast. And I'll be right back. Yeah, one of the campaign... Yeah, Abomination Vaults is one of my favorites. I ran it up to book 2, and then one of my players moved away. I live in Japan. People move, especially in the foreigner community. One moved away, and a group and I kind of had a discussion. We're like, yeah, of the group we've got, I think we don't want to keep doing this, Pyromaniac Phoenix Sorcerer, that's funny. We had a Pyromaniac Goblin Alchemist, which, yes, the what is it? Brown Mold. He got there too, and was like, I say we burn it. And thank God, the sorcerer in the team... No, I'm sorry. What was he? I think he was a sorcerer. I've forgotten his character. Oh, he was playing a champion at the time. Long story. And he's like, let's make a recall knowledge check first. And thank God he did, because that brown mold can be very nasty. Things I've heard from every contractor I brought around. As I say. But yeah, my group sadly broke up, and I moved most of my games over to play by post. I know there is a huge push on the server right now for me to bring Kingmaker, and potentially... I don't know if anyone wants Abomination Vaults anymore on the server. Mostly because if I say I'm going to bring a game to the server, people are going to shout, Kingmaker! To which I say, I'm not going to live that long to run that game. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, failing that recall knowledge... I mean, the brown mold is a meta hazard, so to speak. I mean, way back, way, the history of this back in OD&D, back with Gary Gygax, and if you read any of the stuff that Gary Gygax would write in, like, Dragon Magazine or his own personal stuff, a lot of his stuff was like, how do I get one over on the players? And so he'd see these patterns that players would have, and then he'd just subvert them. I'm trying to think. It was something like, I remember he was talking about pit traps. He put pit traps in the game. So, people would turn the corner and boom, fall down a pit. So then people started using 10-foot poles to test things. And then he started making places in pure darkness and, things that would, they wouldn't go off from the 10-foot poles. And brown mold smacks of that. Where it's just like, I'll put a mold hazard in. And the player's like, oh, mold, we burn that. And so he's like, I'll put a mold hazard in that gets worse when it gets burnt. I could be wrong, but Gary Gygax was a very combative GM, and there's a lot to say about him that I'm not going to touch on. I've read my fair share of material on Gary Gygax, and I'm not gonna talk about that right now. I am gonna get some water. I'm so thirsty. Yeah, you know what? You guys are going to hear me rifling through things. Oh my goodness. Getting water. Do I have snacks? Oh no, I do, but they're for my son. I can't eat those. Nah. Alright. There's a box of cookies sitting there, but I would much rather give that to my son. I don't deserve the cookies. All right. Whew. I've talked a lot without typing anything. All right. So what we've got here is we stopped off at the last room in the dungeon crawl. So I want to note down what we need to convert. He's got the hostages of Lavinia, two of the Jade Ravens, and Cora Whistlegap, who is murdered. She's dead. Stable but unconscious. Cora is dead. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, tragic. I keep reading the burn, and it keeps reminding me of a character. It's a Joel story. Last stream, I talked about my buddy Joel, who made a ton of characters, both in Savage Tide, Age of Worms, my own homebrew story that I did in high school and college. And Joel is famous for making evil characters and very creative characters. He's also famous for getting killed a lot. His characters died all the time, which brings me to Tippletop, probably my favorite character that he made. That might not be accurate. Tippletop was his attempt at being not a fighter, so to speak. All of his characters were like martials, like fighter, monk, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I will be Tippletop, the gnome bard. And he goes, and I've decided his whole thing is that he loves gemstones. So he's going to convert like all of his gold into gems, and he's going to pay for things in gems, and he just loves gems. And I was like, it's a weird character trait, but I'm here for it. Like, let's do this. And God bless Joel, man. He roleplayed that character to death, quite literally. There was, and the players he played with were not role-playing types. They were power gamer, meta gamers, min-maxers, and then there was Joel. It was just like, yes, well, of course, at level 7, I would take the prestige class that would allow me to have immunity to fire and then grapple while being on fire. And then there's Joel, who's like, I will murder my own character for the sake of story. And they were going down these caverns, and I mentioned he makes a perception check, and he sees the glint of something shining in the wall. And his character's like, gems! And he says to the group, I'm going to go get the gems. I'll be right back. And the group was like, all right, we don't care about gems. We're loaded. We don't need the gems. We're going to go. This is in the Age of Worms adventure path. And he goes down the hallway, and it was a trap. Spiders come down and they bite him, and they beat the snot out of the poor little lonely bard that in 3.5 really could not do that much as compared to anything else, or as compared to the bard in 2nd edition. And my lovely, definitely not role-playing type group just completely metagamed and were like, oh, we should probably check on Tippletop at this exact moment. And they come in and they fight off they kill off the spiders. And he goes, I'm dying from the poison. Tippletop here, I'm going to die here. And they're like, yeah, probably. We don't have any way to get rid of that poison. We're all about killing and murdering. We got half orc barbarian, and we got the rogue cleric, arcane theurge. She definitely has 0 like stopping poison abilities. And he was like, oh, and he just died to poison in the hallway. And I just remember he was kind of like, he was looking at the group, and he's like, you guys, you could like resurrect me. I mean, we're pretty high level. You could just resurrect me. And they're like, nah, you could probably just make a new character. It's like, oh, okay, cool. All right. What's it doing? Gosh. All right. And his next new character, Tippletop, was so good. He had the longest name ever. I can't remember what it was. It was like Tippletop. He made a song out of it. He remembered it every time. Joel, one of the best players. Joel was the same guy that got, I have a -4 intelligence. How did I get here? So mechanically, the worst. Storytelling-wise, absolutely fantastic. If you want to go back and check that old VOD out, if you want to go sit through 4 hours of me talking again, you can hear about Joel's paladin in Savage Tide, who actually survived most of Savage Tide. So, good for him. All right, I'm going to note these real fast. I have to stat block for, what is his name? Davigaz? I already forgotten. Dreveraz. Greveraz. And Boagog? It's what? Boagorg. Boagorg. I know you're supposed to pronounce all Bullywug Boggard names as though they're like ribbits and croaks. I don't want to do that on stream. If I'm like in a game, like let's see, Boagorg, Boagorg. Maybe that feels more appropriate. I like to get into the voices and stuff. I'm gonna. Okay, I will note this, just for people that have been following along the stream. We meet Lavinia in the first adventure, and she's just an aristocrat too, and she's got things like, I wonder if she's still got her problem. Oh, it looks like no, she still has a ridiculous plus 17 diplomacy. I must be missing something because they're sticking with that. Essentially, Lavinia comes to us as, in second edition terms, just a classless NPC. But over the course of this game, she will start to pick up more levels. And she picks up a level of swashbuckler in the second adventure. She will eventually become a very cool NPC. I really like her. Improved initiative. She starts getting like feats that are more combat based. Not a lot of reason for it right now. Let's see here. So far, my character's a halfling animal druid. Cool. Incredibly traumatized. Glass half full. Nice. Ignoring trauma. Always healthy. Goblin Phoenix Sorcerer. Yeah. You know, it's funny you say like glass half full. Kind of a Genki, very happy sort of character is currently, like I said, I have 3 characters that I'm running in play-by-post right now. And you start out with an idea and you kind of just role-play them differently, sadly. And I have my human fighter who is like, has the mantle of leadership rather unwilling. He doesn't want it. That kind of, what's it called? Resisting the call. And he's hates magic, and he has like this great faith in Saren Ray, and he's become a taciturn, sort of moody character. Cool. Now my next character, sniper, gunslinger, elf. Again, not a big fan of magic, puts his faith in alchemy and technology, and doesn't get along with people because he feels like he's smarter than them, and he's quite taciturn and moody, and kind of made the same character type. I didn't mean to, and I like both of them, so I'm not changing it. But don't worry, I promise everyone on the server, my next character is going to be really peppy and happy. He's going to be an Aphorite android wizard who's dealing with the past of not knowing who he is, and he's got covered with rune scars on him, and he's taciturn and moody. Damn it! I swear I'm going to do like a fun, peppy, happy character. Because I myself am a fun, happy, peppy person. But I guess I like role-playing that. I like role-playing some moodiness. So, yeah, I don't know. I got a type. I know that Nex, if people are interested in play-by-post, I know that Nex is doing is planning on doing, what is it? The playtest run for the Battle Zoo pets? Not pets. It's the Battle Zoo that's going to have the Pokemon. And I was gonna playtest one of the Pokemon trainers, and no, it's got Eldamons. And I was gonna roleplay something like a happy child. So, traumatized, born in the power to speak to animals, raised by animal traffickers. Oof. That's, you know what? It kind of reminds me of the subversion that's in the Kingslayer trilogy, where it's essentially Harry Potter done correctly. I feel like that's rude to say, but the Kingslayer trilogy is you meet Kvothe, who has this happy-go-lucky life. Parents die, and then he's shipped off to a magical school, or not shipped off. He goes to a magical school, but it's also much more accurate and very like dark and you have these powers, but they're like awful, and it gets him into more trouble, and it loses that whimsy that the Harry Potter books have, where it's like, magical world is silly and fun, and there's just the bad people in it are ruining it, and instead it's much more like, yes, the world is dark and awful, and we're ruining things. And I was like, oh, I like this more. I don't know if we're ever going to get that book 3. No offense to Patrick Rothfuss. I love the man. I don't think I could write a 3rd book, because look at me procrastinating on writing a 2nd sentence. I love the Kingslayer trilogy. The 2 of them, that is. All right. That's rude of me. I don't want to talk. I love him. I'm sure he's a very nice man. I don't know. I don't know him that well. Immediately hedging my bets. I don't. If he said anything problematic, I don't know. What I want to do, I was going to put this. Oh my god, all these things are already going to be tricky. Some Monster 3, I could. Yeah. We can make that some stuff. I wonder if we could. A Cleric of Dagan is interesting. I have to look up what Dagan's kind of going to represent in Greyhawk. The setting for this, by the way, is Greyhawk. I'm not planning on changing that. Look at this. Level 4, your players are going to get a Periaptive Wisdom +2. Build finish Drunken Monk? Yeah, Deception Monk is so cool. It's really cool, and you get to play a monk that kind of gets to be the face of the party. You're like, hey guys, don't worry. I'll talk our way past this. Hey guys, we're just having a good time. We're just having a good time. That's why we should go see the king. This guy behind me with the sword? Great guy. I like this guy. He needs to lead. He doesn't need to lead a sword here. He's a good guy. I love playing face characters. He says after talking about 3 taciturn, moody characters with charisma dump stats. All right. What I'm gonna do here. I don't want to put this in V27. I'm gonna put this in like. All right. I'll just make a little separate thing for me. All right, Jade Ravens. I gotta just. It's Ranger, Rogue, Druid, Sorceress. Okay, there. And I'm gonna make full-on stat blocks like Rin Sphinxy here. Which, by the way, I don't know. I feel like this is common knowledge. I could be wrong. So. Fun fact you can show off to your Abomination Vaults group. Rin Sphinxy is actually James Jacobs' character that he made for a Paizo game before coronavirus. And when it happened, he had to shelve her because he couldn't play with the people at Paizo. And then was like, you know what though? we can just put her into Abomination Vaults. And she will forever get to be a character. And it's also why, let's see, 1, she's interested in the Cosmic Caravan. Yeah, I mean, he's got her full actual history to her. Where is it? She has a connection to the other adventure path, not the other module he wrote, Malevolence. She, I believe, talks about and mentions the manor in Malevolence. I forget exactly where. So, fun fact, as well, a lot of the stuff you'll see, like, have we got any images here? Yeah, like these characters that you'll see in the artwork throughout the dungeon magazines were apparently Paizo in-house characters. You could even see, I mean, I've mentioned this many, many times, our little proto-Harsk here, before he became actual Harsk. I mean, and look at this axe. It's a Wayne Reynolds axe without Wayne Reynolds. I'm so confused by that. Might be I might be too in the weeds on this one. All right. Yeah, I think it's such a trope doing the slurred drunk speech, but it's fun. And if I'm sitting around a table and not having fun, then something's wrong. So, all right, I've got, okay, what is this? Some more things I got to do. Some I don't worry about. Showing the note from Harless won't make a difference. a ridiculous DC 40 diplomacy check to change his demands. Okay. I'm just going to put some note. DC 40 diplomacy. Boop, boop, boop. So I know that I want to go back and make sure I don't forget that. Bargaining, blah, 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 blah. Please, flee, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then there's treasure to convert. This is a weird treasure because it's the gear of the that belongs to Lavinia and her people. So that's going to be weird. Treasure, gear. I don't know if everybody's players were like mine growing up, but it was sort of like, yep, this gear belongs to the Jade Ravens. No, we found it first, so we get to take it. Doesn't work like that. They demand their gear back. Oh, we'll kill them then if they don't let us have their gear. You guys are supposed to be... we are chaotic neutral. You sons of bitches. All right. I want to see. I have a feeling concluding the adventure is going to help us out a little bit here. They may not realize that the Shadow Pearls constitute the greatest threat Sasserine has ever faced. Blah, blah, blah. This is starting the game. This increases their... the monthly stipend. I hate the monthly stipend. Monthly stipends are very weird because it throws off the expected wealth of the characters because... are we gonna like have a month? What are the GM determines sort of things? All right, I'm gonna call it concluding the adventure. All right, cleric is absolutely broken compared to the others just because they're doing. Oh yeah, coming in at high levels, it's either like wheel or woe for me. Either like you came into a group and they knew what they were doing, and their wealth is slightly above that average, and they have these characters that are really set up. And your character, you're still like trying to figure out this high-level character all of a sudden, and that can be bad. Or, quite the opposite, is that they went along and they made a lot of choices like in the moment that didn't quite like build that nice cohesive unit, and then you make this character that has everything planned out to level 12 without any like the side effects of like choices made at the moment. And so you just come in like a god, just psh, psh, psh. What's up, everybody? Yeah, of course. I took Cast Down along with the Harm font and boom, 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 font. Because I didn't have to wait all those levels to get it. Oh, okay. Ouch. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know that there's many groups I've been in that have had dedicated healers, with the exception of my one Age of Ashes group. My Age of Ashes group was... so this is when I wish Pop Juke would come in. Pop Juke, a player on the server, and also my real life player in my Age of Ashes group. His group was a unsurprisingly heal font. Yeah, that's what you do. I'll talk about my cast down build, which I really love, but I don't recommend for people. Age of Ashes group was a goblin giant barbarian, a draconic sorcerer, bomber alchemist, and a Abadarian heal harm cleric. And that group could not kind of get a hold of Pathfinder tactics, and that barbarian would just run into combat, stay in combat, and as a giant barbarian have the lowest armor class of everyone. And it made it so that the cleric had to spend his entire turns just casting heal on the guy. Level 12, Age of Ashes. Is that tail end of book 3? Tail end of book 3, start of book 4? Book 4 is like potentially one of my favorite books. It's definitely my favorite book of Age of Ashes. And where my group stopped, sadly. So, the Asventure. Fair enough. Yeah, I realize that all of my knowledge is like entirely GM side, where it's where I'm like, oh yeah. And then the artwork on page 17, if you'll notice, was actually made by the artist that came out of retirement to make... No one needs to know this information. I hope you have fun with it. You have a lot of games. It sounds like you're having a good time. My goodness. I'm a father. I have a 2-year-old son. And I have another son that's going to be born in October. So my wife and I are busy. So I only do play by post at the moment. All right. I will conclude the adventure. Retainer. Belted, just taking us to prison. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I think every GM's done this at least one point. It depends on the type of GM you are, or it's like, all right, we're gonna kill you guys. Oh, we're really good at this. Oh, fuck, we are way better at doing this than we thought. You guys are not prepared for us. When I said kill you, I meant tie you up, conveniently next to the guard that always leaves his keys right there, right on his hip, and he's gonna walk right past the rogue. Yeah. I've done that a few times, and I don't love doing it. Really, I'm actually kind of surprised here. All right, here I'll read this part out because I do want to talk about getting to the third section. Is it not here? Or book 3? Let's see. Players enjoy the time off, craft magic items, shop for new gear, downtime. Cool. Several possible adventure hooks. Blah blah blah. Maybe wish to follow up on parts of this adventure. Though for now, their questions about Vanthus and the Shadow Pearls are destined to reveal only dead ends. Vanthus never returns to Sasserine. As days go on, Lavinia's need to see her brother face his crimes goes from a burning obsession to a quiet, brooding anger. Here we go. I'm sorry, this is what I'm looking for. Kraken's Cove, the remaining Savage Tide. All right, so essentially, the Savage Tide at Kraken's Cove ends. Okay? We don't have to clean up that mess. The Abyssal Plague stops. It doesn't go any further. Ta-da. However, our third adventure is going to kick off here. By the time the itch for adventure strikes again, Lavinia is ready for them. She's read through the strange notebooks recovered from the family vaults back in the first adventure and penned, they were essentially a place called the Isle of Dread. If anyone knows old school D&D, Isle of Dread should be very familiar. I think I can pull up the PDF of that old adventure right now, but it was one of the first to introduce exploration-based adventures, and you'd kind of and wandering encounter tables. You'd wander around the island, and there's all these dinosaurs and monsters, and this goes into the history of the Isle of Dread and why it's that, which is Shadow Pearl. Essentially, her parents' last accomplishment was to establish a colony on a safe island near the Island Dread, Islet. So Lavinia's like, hey, you know what? Why don't I just go check in on this colony and turn this colony into something to honor my parents? And the players get hired to go along with them. So that's where our third adventure is going to kick off. And our third adventure, let's bring it up here because there we go. This is the one that always had my players happy. The Sea Wyvern's Wake, and that artwork pretty much tells how this whole adventure goes, and I love it. I love this adventure. My players loved it. It was very memorable. Oh, this is a lot to read. Okay. I think it's one of the players playing is a sister to one of the BBEGs. And the people that are keeping for minions for the BBEG. Their partner related to, dragging them over to the BBEG for reunion, and the rest of us there. So you Black Mirror Pirate. Yeah, don't come back. I might kill your friends. I might kill them anyway. Yeah. That does sound like some GM stepping in and introducing backstory stuff, which I think is excellent. I love that. I try to make sure to do that in all of my games. Tie your characters into the game. Tie them into the story. Don't just make them a sticker that you can take and place in any old game and it doesn't matter. All right. But that's going to be next time. Speaking of which, we are not... I have no intention of converting this, which is a side adventure taking place in Sasserine. I mentioned it before. The War of the Wielded. There. Okay. So, all that said, I'm still hungry, but it's my fault. The beans are just sitting here. What I want to do is... I was going to say I want to start with making the hazard. I don't really want to make the hazard right away. I should make the hazard. All right. Let's go back. So, talked about the whole adventure. And let's go back to the beginning of it. Players are going down to Kraken's Cove. This is if they don't have sea charts, if they hired somebody to bring them here. No one's getting close to Kraken's Cove itself. So the players go walk down this rickety wooden walkway that descends from the eastern cliff to the beach below. Okay, I'm going to start making some actual notes here. Here we go. Walkway hazard. Okay, descent to the cove. Let's start here. Descent to the beach can be accomplished in a number of ways. Scaled with a DC 15 climb check. DC 15, if you remember, I mentioned this on a previous stream. The DCs for climb were far different in 3.5 because they had to be kind of set at an average, like, neutral-ish area, because you couldn't climb down in heavy armor, like, at all. It would give you a -8 penalty to climb check, so the DC couldn't be super high. But since players could just take that armor off, it's costing time, you could set it somewhat high. It was this very strange, like, DCs for climb got very weird. So what I'm going to do here, level-based DCs. I want to look, their player's level 3 right now. DC 18. I'm going to say that's a hard level check. Climbing down, I'm going to say DC 20 athletics check to climb down. How 40 feet high? Level 3. A character with a dedicated character. Level 3. 7, 11. Oh, that DC 20 is actually maybe way too difficult. Yeah, I mean, even somebody who's dedicated, 18 strength, expert in athletics, they're going to have about a 55% chance to climb down successfully. That said, I mean, the failure only really comes from the critical failure. I'm pretty darn sure. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with keeping that at DC 20 climb check to go down the cliff walls. These are all rough notes. Okay? These are quickie notes that I'll go back to, and we'll clean this up. I'll replace entire paragraphs of stuff if you haven't seen this one yet, and make it a nice clean copy for everybody. Alright. Oh man. Stomach. I really should have made these sodomame. Okay. Now, we're going to keep going. We're not into the hazard yet. More tempting route is via a rickety wooden walkway. Slippery, narrow surface and navigate with a DC 10 balance check. Sure, I want to make that much easier than the climb check. The climb should be something they don't want to do. Now, what I've got here... Yeah. Okay. How long is this walkway? We might have to write that in. We might have to write in that walkway. Yes. Okay. Alright, that's what I'm going to have to do. Okay. Come up with length of walkway. Because it's going to become rather relevant, I feel. Okay. Our balance check should be something that players should be able to accomplish kind of easily. They've also got the wall there to kind of brace against, so... Low base DCs. This is level 3, but I think it should be very easy. Drop that to a 13. Players have 0 investment. That's what I want to think about. 0 investment. They have... 0 investment. Like, the worst investment would be -1. So... they might not want to do this. I'm okay with that. A 13, though, is still possible, even with a -1. It's not great. Yeah. 13 is fine. And the reason why is, even on a failure, they just can't go forward. Okay? We'll make it the critical failure is that they fall. Falling prone is off. So yeah, let's do that. DC, whoa, it's compelling me to make a DC 13 balance check across the walkway. Cool. Neato Frito. All right, now the slippery eel wrench is free. This is where we should talk about how high up the character. This okay. See this walkway assumes that the GMs are going to do the math for the Pythagorean theorem to figure out how far they are up off the ground. Which I don't disagree. Like that does make sense mathematically. Um, so what I'm coming up with the length of the walkway is graded, which is to say, this section 50 feet. This, I mean, I think the highest they said was 40 feet. 40 feet. This 30. This 20. This 10. Okay? That way, players can very easily, oh, you're in section A, you're on section B. A GM can very quickly figure out, okay, you've fallen 40 feet. And I think it's half damage, correct? Falling, when you fall, yep, half the distance you fall when you land. Very okay. Very okay with this. At level 3, you definitely can survive 20 points of damage to the ground, to the water. That said, we will note it's going to be non-lethal damage. Non-lethal for falling into water. If anyone's going to say, but they fell into water, they shouldn't take any damage. Unfortunately, that is not true. If you fall into water, I think that I think it reduces damage that you would take in real life. Like a person could obviously jump into a pool of water head first and not get hurt, as opposed to a bucket of cement. But it can absolutely hurt you. You could potentially reduce the damage taken from the fall. But I'm okay with this being non-lethal for falling into water because 20 damage is not a lot at level 3. Well, it's a lot, but it's not going to have that many. It's not going to have a lot of impact here. Okay. Oh, my arm. Ow. I have an old arm wound from sitting on a plane for too long. Not a cool story. All right, now let's talk about this hazard. While the players navigate the walkway, the heavy ropes mooring the burning slippery eel finally burn through and snap audibly. The eel wrenches free, and the tide carries it careening into the west wall of the cove, where it destroys the central 50 feet of the walkway in a terrific crash. All the more reason to kind of label these sections. A spot or listen check is enough to note the vessel's sudden motion, making it a perception check to notice that. Easy. And make a balance check to avoid being knocked off. And then here we go. Reflex save to have them grab an edge, essentially. Increase falling damage in this case by fire. Okay, adding some fire. Easy-ish. All right. What I got to do is use the bathroom. Okay, and I think there's a snack I'm gonna add in, even though it's a crunchy one. So, as I get to the point where my stomach starts rumbling on stream again. I'll be right back. Alrighty. I got a little packet of what my son calls chura chura ramen, because, dipping ramen doesn't really dip it. But kids ramen in Japan come prepackaged like this and can be eaten like a snack food. So it's got all the seasonings on it already. They then realized this was kind of popular, and they made a brand for adults that they call 0-second ramen, which is just ramen you pull out of a pack and eat. That said, this falls apart, unlike the actual adults version. So, super tasty, but crunchy. So, sorry about that. Okay, so we got a design. Whoa. Let me see here. I forgot what it's called. Here we go. Okay. Template tool. That's what I forgot. Jeez, my brain absolutely turned off. This is something I made for the Strength of Thousands game that unfortunately didn't work out. They really wanted to play vampire. They're Dhampir, a bit more vampiric, and then they just decided to hand wave it. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. Actually, I'm gonna copy. Is Footlancer simple? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna copy all of this. Unnamed entry. Boom. What we... Slippery Eel's Revenge. We'll come up with a better name. It's a hazard. No. Lazy. I'll figure out a level for it. It is going to be simple. Let me find something here. Detecting hazard, disabling hazard. I want my hazard list. Nope. Every time. Hazards. I know there is a list of hazards. Come on. Because I want to use them. I want to compare. I want to see how the other hazards are written. Get another bite of this. Crunchy, crunchy. There we go. You just look up another one. Easy. Let's look up some simple hazards. Just to see and compare. Boy, this isn't really a trap. It's not environmental. It's definitely not a haunt. That's an interesting question here. I'm going to say it is environmental. Let's find a simple. Okay. Okay, I'm alright with this. Let's take a look. No, see, look at this. A hazard with this trait is something dangerous, part of the natural world, quicksand or mold, you know? Likewise, though. Like a trap. Oh, you know what? Constructed physical object. Oh, that's mechanical. Constructed to hinder interloper. Oh, I know just the thing I want to look up. Since I'm going to be running this on the stream, I don't think I want to put it on, or I'm going to be running it on the play-by-post. I'm not sure I want to put it into the stream. But the Port Peril Pub Crawl has some bar fight hazards, which means... Oh, interesting. So they don't even note it as a... They don't note it as a trap or an environmental or a haunt or anything. It is just a hazard that is unique. Well, maybe giving it the unique tab is going to justify that enough for me. You know? Alright. Da-da-da-da-da. Get rid of this. Don't need this anymore. Give it unique. And it's not complex. It's not complex. Alright, building. Hazards. Here we go. Level-based DCs. Oops. Level-based DCs. Done and done. So, level 3. We want this... We want it to be very obvious. Players should be able to see it and be able to get a turn to react. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh. So crunchy on stream. I really am breaking all the rules today. Okay. This level really doesn't matter too much. I'm just going to keep it 3. Not complex. Stealth is going to be low. Oh, you know what I should do, actually? Building hazards. Let's look at the DCs it's asking for. Yeah. Alright, we want a low. Gonna keep it 15. Easy. No. Okay, so quick note about hazards for people that don't know. If it does not have, for instance, trained or expert after the stealth DC, this is something that you would be able to notice that the GM is just going to roll when it happens. If it has trained, you have to actively be searching for traps at that time. So, something like this, it would be very weird if your players are walking along and they're suddenly smacked by a boat and nobody got a chance to even notice it. So, take that off, make it easy to find. This thing is happening. However, well, I'll get there. Description. The moorings of the nearby slippery eel burn through and send it careening into the side of the cove wall. Easy description, exactly what it says. Disabling it though. Alright, I want to go back to something here. Make a note. I'm going to say, do we want to... I don't think I want to include it because it just doesn't make sense. I was going to say, like, and include a crafting check to stabilize the bridge, but I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It seems very odd. It's something that players would not be, like, spending time doing. But also something that my players bring up all the time. Oh, the bridge doesn't work. Can I use a crafting check on it to just make it work? I don't know about that. Need some more of this. Come to Japan. Come for our gourmet culinary food. Stick around for the absolute garbage snacks that are so tasty and so bad for you. I'm pretty sure it's like 1000% sodium. But very tasty. Okay. Alright, I'm going to look at this again real fast. All right. I'm gonna say this: the Slippery Eel's Revenge. Gonna change that name. Cannot be disabled. However, noticing the hazard. Gives the like as I'm writing it, I'm like, does this need to be a hazard anymore? Let's see. Gives the noticer. Yeah. 2 rounds. 2 rounds of actions to attempt to escape its path. No apostrophe there because we are not talking about a possess. It cannot possess as a thing. Rules. What we're gonna call it? Shattering walkway. Just names. They're just names. Okay. All right. This says here. When the players navigate the walkways. All right. We don't know how long the walkway is, but let's think. I had the DCs up here. Silly me. We can move 5 feet around. Move up to your speed, treating it as difficult terrain. Okay. So we're going to be averaging about 10 feet around on successes, which feels right. With a 13 balance check, we might be able to get the occasional, 35-foot round, 50-foot round, more than that. Why am I... We got to make this kind of long. I'm going to say 2 rounds. Okay, I'm starting to think how this would go. All right. All right. Here's our slope. Ignore my little notes of making my character Honesty. It's not me being honest. It's my character's name is Honesty. I'm not an honest man. Update a bunch of stuff. Yeah, open up some stuff. Okay. We've got this slope. If the players start going down, I don't want to make it a gauntlet of rolling dice that is uninteresting. Okay? Essentially, think of it like the first few rolls that you're making teaches you that you're going to be going down this way, and you're going to have to balance across. Unless you have another way across, this is how you're going to have to do it. Separated into sections like we mentioned before. 1 round, maybe 2 rounds after. I'll do some math about when this should occur or is most likely to occur. But then that center section, boom, would get destroyed. And players will hopefully get enough actions that if they see it, we'll be able to cross one way or the other. Okay? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say 2 rounds have passed since someone stepped foot onto the walkway. Okay. The moorings snap loose loudly, allowing everyone within Kraken's Cove. I feel like I should be italicizing that. To make a perception check against the hazards DC. Okay, now we have success, target, So this is where it gets weird. Like, this is where it gets weird, right? Because this is where it's strange. Oh my god. It's come loose from the moorings. I succeeded on my perception check. I'm gonna get around to act. Oh, I didn't get that perception check. Yeah, but it's come loose. So I'm gonna get around to act. You get it too. Oh, I didn't see it happen. I'm not gonna get that round to act. So that doesn't work. Like right away, I just realized that cannot work. Let's think. Hmm. Uh, at the end of the next round, the slippery eel. Hold on, let's get some of this out of the way. Eel slams into the. Well, okay. Well, I think I just might have figured out some math problems here. This says it destroys the center 50 feet. Okay, is this mirrored on the stream? I never even. Hold on. No, I think we're good. Probably not good. No, we're not good. That's mirrored, isn't it? All right. Anyway, the center 50 feet gets destroyed. I'm curious if we can make the sides going down from 40 feet, 30 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet, abstracted for the sake of simplicity. There. We have a 100-foot long walkway. Somebody who crushes their balance checks can, no problems. Maybe not having a great time, people, makes this hazard kind of function. Yeah. Okay. Slams into the, in the CNET. Slams into the center of the walkway. Dealing, I think they should deal damage. XDX, bludgeoning, and XDX, fire damage to everyone in areas B and C. We're making stuff up. We'll come back, fix it later. Okay? And dropping them to the water below. Okay. So we see it. There's the call out for it. There's so many things here that I don't like. There's so much here that I don't like. For instance, what's to stop a player from looking at the boat beforehand and saying, like, hey, can I check out that boat to the GM? And the GM going, yeah, that makes sense. Rolling that check. Ooh, they beat it. Yeah, it looks like that boat's about to come loose. And the player go, cool. When? Uh-oh, sorry, my wife just sent me a message, and that could always be bad. Check this out real fast. It's all in Japanese, so I don't know. Okay, she says yarimashita. She said she did it, so I believe it's okay. We're dealing with a rather unfortunate company. I can't talk too much about it for legal reasons, but they're doing some unfortunate stuff that we have to deal with. Ugh. Great. Okay, so a player sees it and goes, well, when's it gonna snap? I'll just wait for that to happen. And they'll go, oh, 2 rounds after someone has stepped foot under the walkway. Like, that doesn't feel good to me. Boy. Like, cinematically, as a set piece. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me pause this real fast for a second. There we go. Very exciting watching me type to my wife in Japanese. I'm using all of my brain power to type in Japanese. Okay. There is no reset. I don't think I have to write anything there. All right. I mean, I don't like to break like rules. Like success. The target is quickened by seeing this thing. I don't. And it's like a success to see it. I mean, I realized my brain was like, I gotta make this a hazard. And now, like, does it need to be a hazard? Because, one, doesn't fall into any of the hazard categories of trap, haunt, or environmental. Okay? Two, players don't get to interact with it in the same way as a hazard does. They just get to avoid a thing. In reality, I maybe should just write it in the adventure just like it is. No! I kind of wanted to put a hazard in like this. Yeah, I mean, it can't be disabled. There's no interaction with it. Why call it a hazard? So instead, I mean, the only thing that makes it a hazard is the players can be hurt by it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here. I put make this work. Or not. Or not. Okay, DC 15 perception to notice. Ooh, sorry about that. We say, so, I want to make some notes here. Length, 100 feet. Long, not too long, that players are just going to be like, rolling dice, oh my god, I wanted this cross already. It's long enough that they get an introduction to it, and then they get the, oh god, we have to get off this real fast before we get hit by the boat. And the 100 feet split into 4 sections. A, B, C, D. Okay. Which then correspond to 40. Hey! Hey, that's the first time I've had a... All right, hey there, Adrian, how you doing? Party of 5. Welcome, everybody. This is... I'm not even sure how raids work. I'm not even sure how Twitch works. Welcome, guys. I'm just talking about Pathfinder stuff. Thank you for coming. We just scrapped my one idea that I was super excited about. Fresh meat. Yeah, I'm super new to all this stuff. I'm old. I'm old, man. I don't even know this stuff. Tell me the young people lingo. What we are doing here is we are converting. Hey, oh, where'd it go? Can't believe I pulled it up just from it. Really? I love artist GMs or artist players, anything. Just throwing awesome content in there. That is so cool. So glad, Adrian. Thank you for coming by. This is an embarrassing change of pace. What we're doing is we're converting. If anybody out there, raise your hand if you know the old Paizo adventure paths that came out before the game mastery modules that eventually became Pathfinder. The Dungeon Magazine adventure paths. This is the last one that happened at the end run of the Dungeon magazines back in 2006. Hey. Yes, GM Rocky. So glad to have you. Oh my God, glad to have you all. Yeah, I mean, it's always like, I'm not old. I don't feel old. I'm 35. But then I talk to people and they're like, yes, well, I'm fresh out of college and Pathfinder's my first game. I'm like, that's so exciting to me. This is so cool. I love, yeah. Oh my God. Any other dad GMs in here? Is it just me? Oh man. Old. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, in fairness, like 30, 35, it's not really old yet. But I feel old when I talk to so many new players. One of my first Pathfinder 2nd edition players was fresh out of high school. She's like, I've only ever played D&D 5e. Not fresh out of high school, fresh out of college. Felt like high school. And she's like, now, so Pathfinder's just another version of D&D? Or is that? I was like, Oh, there's a whole history we have to go into here. There was a fourth edition? Yes, we'll have to talk about that. So what we are doing, 19-year-old and 1-year groups, I'm eventually, I mean, I've got 2 kids, one on the way, I should say. I'm eventually hoping to take them and just throw them into the role-playing into things. But I think every dad, like, secretly wants that. We don't talk about 4E. I can't sing. I don't know why I even attempted. What we've done, by the way, so far... Thanks! We've converted... When you're 28, you played D&D for the first time? Oh my gosh, oh man, that is... So what is that, 7 years with the same GM? That is so great, man. So I live in Japan. Actually, that's why it's probably super bright right now. It's 12 in the afternoon here. Hey. And we were eating some soramame. And I've left all of my groups from like high school and college behind, sadly. Got her back 7 years later. Congrats. Oh man. That's even better. What we've done here so far, actually, I can make a link to the Google Drive if anyone's interested in it. We have the first adventure fully converted, start to finish, which took, I think, a better part of a month just to do this. This has been really fun to do. I mean, look at it. I mean, good lord. Good lord. Because 3.5 design philosophy, as to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, is radically different. You could put in a dungeon and populate it with copy-paste hundreds of the same creatures, and your players will still have fun. Just walk into the room, boom, boom, kill the guys. You know, nobody has these very impactful tactical decisions to make, so it's a very low cognitive load in 3.5. But in 2nd Edition, that's a little bit trickier to pull off. So we had to change a lot of things, while still keeping the spirit of these old adventure paths. I love it. Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, I think... And I would not consider myself some amazing GM or anything, but a good GM cares about their players, for certain. I run a play-by-post server, which most of the viewers that we do get on the stream, I don't even advertise this stream anywhere. I'm just like, well, Reddit occasionally. Just very quietly, like, hey guys, I'm just doing a little stream. We do a play-by-post server. We've got about 20, 25, 30 games on the server right now. But I know play-by-post is not everybody's jam. Again, I live in Japan, so I don't get the chance to like play games in English very often. Most of the time, I'm speaking Japanese and trying to sort out my life. I feel like it's like regular American sort out your life, but in Japanese. Yeah, 3.5 is so different. It's super fun, and I think if somebody invited me to play 3.5, I'd think about it long and hard, but I'd love to go back. But I'd have to be like, hey, what can't I do because everything's broken? Table, online, play-by-post? Yeah, exactly. And you get such a different vibe from the games. Especially play-by-post. People have these very long and expansive ideas. I really kind of like someone to take a day and write something. It's very, very nice. Let me link that real fast. I am lazy. If anyone's interested in it, you don't have to be. I just like showing it off. Well, hey, if you do, and there's no like, what are we looking for? No commitment or anything like that. I've got a server. Come on by. Everyone's really nice. We don't just do 2nd Edition. We've got Power by the Apocalypse. We've got Delta Green. Someone's doing a Blades in the Dark. Someone was talking about doing Alien RPG. We're mostly Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but I know we have like an Iron Gods Pathfinder 1st Edition. We have right now, brand new, is a Dragon's Demand convert that someone's doing. Very exciting. And I run all the Pathfinder Society games. Oh, why did I say that? We actually have we have like 2 more dedicated GMs. That's our Discord. If you want, stop by. We just have a big giant general chat and a recruitment section. and already people are showing up. So cool. Every time I do a stream, we always get a few more people. It always feels good. We have a nice community. Just one rule, don't be shitty people and you're good. That's it. All right. So I do this stream on Sunday nights for America, or the I guess Europe it would be Monday morning. It's my Monday morning here. Easy peasy rule. Exactly. Honest to God. What do they call it? Oh, I saw it on Reddit that I really liked it. It was like the rules are don't be don't be trash, trans exclusionary and like homophobic or anything like that. Don't be trash. I was like, hey, I like that. A rule that people aren't going to look for loopholes through. There we go. Perfect. Don't be trash, and we're cool. But yeah, on Sunday nights, I stream Converting Savage Tide. And on Thursday nights, we just do homebrew fun stuff. And we come up with, we're writing an adventure together, which has been interesting. I'm not, like, in love with it, but it's sort of just supposed to be fun, quick 2 hours after I have a dental visit. And we've been homebrewing Drow because people were upset about the move losing OGL. For me, I love Drow and everything. I also love Galarian, so I'm not too upset about losing Drow, as I kind of trust James Jacobs and his team. And we're also doing Wizards, a class dedication for Wizards, which is fun. We're making like War Wizards and what was it? Dinosaur Wizard, which is a Slozar requested, who's also on our server. And I'm checking to make sure he hasn't announced himself right away. Has he? Not yet. He's usually pretty quick. Lost me some caster classes. Lost some caster classes. Lost you. Oh, with the... I was like, okay. Yes. Oh my god, you're not alone. I am a huge wizard guy. I say as I play a fighter and a gunslinger on the server, so I don't know... I love wizards. I've just been waiting for that right moment. I actually have my my Aphorite android wizard set up for... You got a wild party? Yeah? I love it. That's the one, like... One of those things from 3.5. Let's see. Elf Tiefling Summoner with Ice Dragon Eidolon. Very nice. Eidolian? Eidolon? I like Eidolon. That is cool. Oh my god. More people need to get on board the Summoner train. Every time I see someone playing a Summoner, I'm like, oh, yes. They'll say, I want more castery. I'm like, to go more castery. The Summoner's so cool. I say with, how many Summoners have I got in my games right now? I think I've got like 3 or 4. So... I'm running 7 play-by-post games and a in-person Kingmaker game. Squishy. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Boy, With that Dragon Eidolon that gets in there, you're like, wait a minute. I'm an elf. Hold on. Oh, my health. Actually, if Solavertus would pop in the chat, that'd be great. I unfortunately did overkill. It did massive damage to a player in Pathfinder Society. I felt really bad. They were a psychic elf with the lowest hit points possible. They never bumped up that con, and I crit them, and I was like, well, massive damage rules that's 3 times your life, and it's Pathfinder Society. I gotta play by the rules. I'm sorry. Thankfully, they had a resurrection ready, so they actually used a resurrection boon on a level 1 character, but they were attached, and I think that was sweet. Let's try and sneak in and get... Oh. Yeah, the mindset of the summoner can be so, like, all right, I'm going to get in there. I got this big old beefy dragon boy. Get in there, dragon man. And then you kind of, like, stop for a second. You're like, oh, God, these frail elven hands. Oh, no. No, wait, hold on, dragon man. Slozar is our resident in like one of the most prolific posters on our Discord. Was playing the summoner with me in the playtest, and we did it through the slithering, and he also did a dragon. Man, oh man, he was like, everything is con. I have to be so careful with this guy. Spent the combat time, drawing little doodles, but you know what? Mad respect. In America, before I came to Japan, I was an art teacher, and I encourage everybody to doodle. Even if you're not good at it, I don't know, maybe it's me with a restless hand thing. I just kind of like, it lets the brain go. And Pathfinder, D&D, role-playing games, whatever, perfect time to doodle. as long as you kind of pay attention. Orc Barbarian, Animal Companion, Human Ranger, Moon Sun Dual Devotion, Human. Yeah, that double devotion. I'm assuming a what's it called? Versatile font in there, because when I hear versatile font, I just rub my hands together and think, oh, cast down shenanigans. Because I can heal you guys, but also I can knock you prone at range, and it's fun for me. I love versatile fonts. I don't get to play enough. I GM. No versatile font. Extra hard focus on healing. Well, that's still good. That's still awesome. May I post a drawing? Yes. Oh my god. Check out. Absolutely. Oh my god. That art channel needs some love because I started doing dad stuff and stopped drawing so much. We have and as well, if you're interested. Free place if you want to like advertise for commissions and stuff, talk to people. Art channel's perfect place to do it. We do have some folks that take commissions and stuff. They're the best. I got streamer mode on, so let me see. Let me take a look. This is it? Would you be upset if I put this on stream? Would you? And feel free to be like, nah, I'm not into that, because this is awesome. Let me see here. Open in browser. Boom. Very cool. Look at this. So these are the characters for your game right now. Well, let me zoom in here. This is lovely. You have a real talent here. Oh, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna close it. There we go. I'm gonna get back to stream. That is so cool. Sadly, I only ever taught elementary school and middle school. So I never had, no, I shouldn't say I never had. My students didn't get to do cool, fun stuff like that. So I was always like, yeah, we're going to focus on line, form, color, value, texture, shape, and light, everybody. And then in high school, you could put that together and make a composition of your own. And I always just got to be the building blocks guy, never the fun, cool, at the end of the day stuff. And now most of my artwork is very easy graphic design. So, where it's just like, I took a silhouette of a dice and I kind of just duplicated that a lot of times. And it's a logo now. We'll see. Since I'm like in self-promote mode, I guess. We have a very dumb, very small YouTube. And let me tell you, don't watch any of these because they're not interesting. Look at this. 4 hours of me talking about conversion. However, the homebrew and design stuff, they're fun. Am I wearing the same shirt between the two videos? That's embarrassing. All right. There we go. These are mostly fun talkings. Adrian, thank you. I got to make sure. I mean, how do I? I did the old man look. How do I figure out how to sub to you and see your stuff? Thank you. I got the one thing working, which is a GIF of a D20. One thing. Hit all the buttons. Yes. Oh, dude. Yeah. My gender neutral dude. Sorry. I do some video editing, and I said to my wife, like, I should edit these videos, and I should just kind of cut it down to the important parts of the conversion stream. And she's like, "What important parts?" She's like, "You're just talking to people." Like, no, I do important stuff. She's like, "Yeah, the important stuff is all the stuff. It's all done, and they look at it, and then they play their game. This is just talking." Fair enough. My wife is a very strong, opinionated Japanese woman, and I am a meek, very quiet. Well, not quiet. I'm a meek foreign American guy from New Jersey living in Japan. Woo! All right. Still fascinating to see the project. Absolutely. Like this stuff. This is what I live for. If I was gonna say something and then I was gonna immediately realize. Live in Japan? Yes. I love Japan, but if somebody said to me, I cannot stand living in Japan, I would understand. It's definitely, I think, not exactly what everyone expects when they first get here, but I've come to love it. I live on the 14th floor here. It's a very different thing, yeah. 14th floor here in not the big city. I'm not in like Tokyo or anything, but we're in Sendai. You can still Google the city. So it's like, oh hey, he lives in a real city, and I deal with Japanese kind of culture perceptions towards me. 3 years over, just a pinch away from Tokyo. Yeah, that you really look at that. All right, yeah, culture shock. Living in Alabama, so I was. I'm New Jersey. Did I mention that? Yeah, I don't know. Texas and culture shock is a thing. As somebody I lived in Korea before this and New Zealand. You were a military kid, right? Wow. So you really, yeah. It's a different world, and if you are Yokota, is that close to? I'm gonna Google. Is that close to? No, Fukushima. So you were actually like really close to where I am now. Here is Miyagi. Here's Sendai here. Yokota. Look at that. That is crazy. That's what a small world. Look at that. I was thinking you were like Okinawa or something, but and Okinawa is an entirely different world. I mean, I can't. That is so cool. Yes, different places. Well, the thing is, when you teach art in America, this was age. That's true. That's true. It's not like you're there now, but nevertheless, very interesting. But teaching in America is lovely and dandy, but dealing with the administration as a teacher, and especially as an art teacher, you have to go in with a budget, and you're like, all right, guys, so here's what I'd like our kids to do, and this is going to help them in their careers in the future. And you can't be like, and art is going to help them develop creatively. You got to be like, oh, sorry, my wife just messaged me, and she's like, you up for a date tonight? And I am. Our son is staying with our grandmother, so woohoo! What's I saying? Dealing with administration, I felt like I was constantly justifying my existence. Like, all right, I got a little, like, here's the budget, and the budget is to buy paint and, like, drawing material and things that we're going to use, and here's the lessons that I wrote that we're going to use this year. And they'd kind of go, well, we're having a budget crunch, and we do need that money to kind of go to these certain areas. And you go, well, okay, I understand that. And they do seem to get in the lion's share of the money. I'm not complaining about that. And they're like, actually, we're going to cut back, and we might be cutting the art entirely. That never happened to me, thankfully. I got really lucky. But I did have to work with a shoestring budget and what are my supplies this year? Pencils, erasers, and paper that I can steal from other people. Paper was one thing the art room always had, except there was always a knock on the door. Hey, Miss Henderson from down the hall said if I could get some paper from you. The paper I bought out of my budget? Yeah, okay, Miss Henderson. Thank you. It was very frustrating for me. So I moved to Korea just as a lark and had a lot of fun. I ran a private school there for about 6 months. Really fun. But if anyone's ever lived in Korea, you want to talk culture shock. My Lord, I thought I could drink until I got there. And there was just like, hey, what are you doing this afternoon? This afternoon? I'm going to go to work. Ah, yeah. Well, you know what? We're all going out for drinks. On a Tuesday afternoon? Yeah. Also, everyone's going. We work at a school. Yeah. We're just going to cancel classes for the afternoon. We're all just going to go out drinking. Okay. And it was the one country that I had blacked out in more than any other. It's the only country I blacked out in. And in like 1 year, I blacked out 3 times. And I realized, I cannot live here. I will die. They were very, very unscrupulous with their alcohol. It was like, here, please have some more. Like, this is water, right? Oh, God, no, you got me again. Or, have a glass of beer and people are like pouring soju in it. Like, whoa, you got me again. Yeah, it's still morning for me, and I'm gonna wait till date night. So but you can see how much my wife and I drink. We've got our whiskey glasses, and I just drink water out of. Soju is okay. So this is we're thank you, design stuff. You're very lovely, and I'll see you later. Soju is not what I'd call super strong. It's like innocuous. You're like, oh, that was kind of sweet. It wasn't so bad. Really smooth. Huh. I don't see what's so bad about soju. And how much is this bottle? You say that's a chunan? That's 1,000 won? That's $1 in English? Oh, and you have a buy one get one free deal at the convenience store? Well, I mean, I guess if I give you $1 and I get 2 bottles of this super easy to drink stuff, how bad could it be? And then you wake up the next day, you're like, oh my god, where am I? I remember getting a really good deal on soju, and then, oh no. God, I want to find it in the chat. Oh my god. Gosh, let me see if I can find it. Soju. Because we were just talking about this. I'm gonna link this into the Discord. Not copy text. All right, copy messages. There we go. Soju memories. Everyone else will be confused. Everyone else in the Discord will be confused. But yes, we were just talking about that. Popjuk and I, we both lived in soju. We both lived in Korea, did not know each other, and met in Japan. Weird story. My soju story is that I went out drinking soju for the first time, and I woke up in what's called a jjimjilbang, which is an overnight place that you stay in, and it's like a hotel. It's like a spa, actually. Except I didn't know that, and I had a set of orange clothes on. All of my identifying cards and licenses were all missing. I had glasses at the time. They were gone. My phone's missing. And I had a key on my hand. So I thought I was in prison. And I didn't speak enough Korean, except I knew how to say, where am I? Not even that. I knew how to say where. So I was stumbling around. Audio. Which was not good. Doesn't make you any friends. Especially, I'm in prison. I don't know what happened. The soju was very cheap. Of course I drank it. Anyway, I did eventually find out. Found my phone, called my friend. It's like, hey man, how you doing? We had a few to drink last night. And it's like, I can't talk right now. I'm in the ER. And then he hung up on me. Soju. As Popjuk says here, everyone's got a one night in soju story, and now Calpal's got to be like, "What the hell are you talking about? Why are you messaging me? Why are you messaging the general chat for this?" A lot of fun. I enjoyed Korea. Could not live there because, like I said, moved back to America. Dealt with more administration there. Got frustrated with that. Moved to New Zealand. Immediately was terrified of New Zealand. No offense, I'm sure it's a lovely place. The guy that I was staying with, I meet him, shake his hand, shows me his neck, giant swastika tattoo. And I was like, oh no, the guy I'm staying with is a Nazi. And he was like, hey man, so glad to have you. Hey, so good to see another white guy like you. And I was like, oh yeah, oh boy, I gotta go. Oh, I gotta get out of here. He's like, not like some of the Maori folk. I'm like, oh, I don't like this at all. I did not punch him. I was just immediately changing bookings and I gotta get the fuck out of here. Eventually, I think that was in Dunedin, and I visited Christchurch briefly, and then I ended up in Blenheim, which if anybody knows Blenheim, New Zealand, its name is representative of the vibe the town gives off. Blenheim, not very exciting. I ended up staying with the mayor. I'd lived with the mayor for a few months, and I was like, hey mayor, bud, I know I'm doing work for you for free entirely under the table, which feels weird for a government official. I gotta get out of New Zealand. This place is killing me. And I left New Zealand and then came to Japan, where I've been for 7 years. Met my wife, have a kid, have a house. And we still drink a lot, just, not Korean blackout soju. So, speaking of which, I'm just curious what her date night plan is. Yep. We're old. She's currently pregnant. We're not drinking, obviously. She's like, let's go hang out at the mall. A thing that young people do. Hang out at the mall in the 90s. Oh, did I make this? Oh, sorry, I'm looking through what I did convert. Done. essentially, boom, put a pin in it. We have converted the second adventure. You guys came in at the right time. What I was doing, before I get entirely just sidetracked with fun and enjoyable conversation, thank you, by the way. By all means, anytime, you guys are welcome here. Not that I've denied anyone access to the stream. We have got... Where was I? Oh, well. There we are. Yeah, we're talking about going down. Well, so this adventure path is awesome. At this point, you know what? Let me pull it up. Let me pull up our story because I really like it. The storyline. Here we go. And I'm gonna. No, wrong storyline. I have many storylines. Cool. All right. You'll get the quick story time before I go into stuff, if you're interested, of this adventure, so that you can enjoy it more. And on to my boom. All right, there we go. So, this is the Savage Tide Adventure Path, and here's what we've done so far. This is, I feel like I might be going overboard with just a stream where I talk, but, so, boop, there we are. We are introduced to the Vanderborn families, and of particular interest here is Lavinia Vanderborn, who acts as our patron throughout the entire adventure, and she's trying to get her affairs in order. And importantly, her brother is missing. Her brother Vanthus. And she's worried about him, as you would be worried about your brother. Unfortunately, her brother blew up her parents in a boat explosion, stole all the money, and, broke into the family vault, stole all the money, gave all the money to a woman named Rowan Kalani. In the meantime, he was dating another woman named Brissa Santos. The scandal, the shock. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with the Savage Tide? Well, everything. See, Rowan, she's a member of the noble houses of Sassarine, the town that this all takes place in. She is the Kalani family. And they have their fingers in every pie, and they're wicked and evil. They're the bad guys. But not only that, she runs a thieves guild known as the Lotus Dragons. So, Vanthus takes all the money from his sister, gives it to Rowan to support her and her growing thieves guild. The thieves guild was then supporting her family growing and getting larger. What does Brissa Santos have to do with any of this? We'll get to that one later. So, then the players get involved. Players show up. They don't know all this stuff is happening. Lavinia is like, let's get my family stuff in order. So she has hired before the Jade Ravens, a mercenary group, to help her out with some bodyguard work, and the players to help track down her money and then her brother. And of course, if you put players on the path of money, they will eventually put a stop to the Lotus Dragons. And that's where our first adventure ends. Okay? But our dangling little plot hooks here. Brissa Santos has connections to pirates? Okay. And the pirates are transporting a bunch of treasure, and Vanthus and Rowan come up with this plan. Hey, why don't you date Brissa? Well, Vanthus comes up with the plan to date her. Long story short, he was dating her before. Whatever. I'm muddling things. Essentially, Vanthus says, what if we rob the pirates? Good plan. From the same guy that came up with the plan of, why don't I blow up my parents? And then give their money to a thief. Vanthus is an interesting character, and I love him, and that's why I'm pretty much converting this entire adventure path because I love Vanthus so much. He's awful. And, of course, Kalani family wants revenge for either killing their daughter or for, destroying the Thieves Guild. Which brings us to adventure number 2. Whew. Stream where you talk. Pharasma forbid. Yeah, absolutely. I just like talking, honestly. My wife asked me, she said, wow, so you're on a stream and you talk for 4 hours? I was like, yeah, 4 hours. She goes, I can't believe that you could actually talk for so short. You have to stop yourself, do you? Thank you. I love my wife. Before Corona, I did stand up in Japan, but then Corona happened. All right, yes. Visual, the scathing humor is refreshing. Thank you. My wife is the opposite of so many Japanese women that I've met, which is why I had to marry her. It was like, she was like immediately, 100%, first meeting. We go out to drink, and she's like, "Oh, so nice to meet you. I really like a lot of American shows." And I'm like, "Yep, this is gonna be a bad date. This is not gonna be fun." She's like, "Yeah, I really like Full House." I'm like, "Full House? Oh boy, I'm hating this." She's like, "Is it okay if I just order a drink real fast?" "Excuse me, can I have the largest whiskey? And 2 of those, please." And I was like, "Oh, I don't need any whiskey." She's like, "No, I want 2 whiskeys. The big one. Mega." I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And she's like, "No." It's very silly. And 5 minutes pass, and she's got her leg up on the table, sitting like this. She's like, "Where's my drink? I think I asked for a drink about like 5 minutes ago." And she's bing, 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 bing. "Excuse me, I ordered a drink. I ordered 2 drinks. Can I get some drinks?" And I was like, "Oh my God, she might be an alcoholic." No, she's just very strongly opinionated, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I can't do this faking cute bullshit. I gotta be honest. I'm not." She's like, "No one wants to date me because I'm like so strong-willed. I'm so friggin' bold and everything." And like, "Okay, yeah. Hey, I happen to be a weak-willed dude. You wanna hang out?" And then we got married during Corona. All right, that was my weird sidetrack. All right. Phew. It's a love story to end all love stories. It's so beautiful. Then we had a little beautiful baby boy who was just as loud and as talkative as the both of us. Yeah, I the problem is that it's Japan, and so I can be like intelligent and verbose in English, and intelligent is very much like a subjective thing here. But then it comes to Japan, and someone will speak to me, and I'll just go, "Oh God," slowly translate this in my head. Yes. Now to output this in my baby Japanese. "So desu ne. Boku mo sore suki desu yo." And it's like, "Oh good, I look like an idiot. Oh God." So, like that classic picture, I think, is of Modern Family, where it's like, "You don't know how intelligent I am in my home, my native language." Learning Japanese, it's so funny. This goes back to the first stream. We were talking about it. Learning Japanese is fun. My recommendation is not to do it. But if you do want to do it, if I still got it with me right here, look at that. There we go. This is the book I don't use anymore. It says the workbook. But this is like a $20 book? Genki 1? It'll get you enough if you want to visit. It gets you through the entire trip. If you want to have as much Japanese as every other foreigner I've met, you get Genki 1 and Genki 2, and that's it. And they'll live on that. It's one of the most popular, and I know it's either that or everyone's Japanese, which is called Mina no Nihongo. Myself, I am not super high level. I am N3, which is the worst level. Because at N2, at the next level, that's where you get like the Japanese jobs. And at N4, that's where you're like, he's cute, he's been getting around for a little bit, he can speak some Japanese. But N3 is like, why don't you know all of the Japanese yet? Because it's hard. You know enough to know that you're bad at it. Yes, correct. That's where I'm at. Obviously, my next stream is to just do me learning Japanese, which is a frustrating thing to do, and I am behind on it. So, but yeah, it's fun. If you're interested in learning Japanese, get Genki, and then you go one step further. If you really like want to go into it, I recommend Anki, which is a memory tool, and that's helps me learn vocabulary and grammar points and kanji. So I love kanji. I think I'm the only one that does, but it's fun. All right. If I may say anything, see, there it is. I'm the only one that loves kanji. It's so strange. Yeah. Boku no. Whoa. Why I put noku no? Boku no skina. Whoa. There's the problem. I have a keyboard that skips things. No skina. Nihongo. Wow. What is my favorite Japanese? Pizza. I don't know. But I've got a... It starts coming in... Yeah, you get... If you, no, you can't see that, but... Got a little... I'm actually using a Japanese keyboard, so it has a setting for essentially taking Japanese sounds, mapping them out to my keyboard, so I can type that way. Rather than using the actual Japanese keyboard, because my brain can't look at this and go, okay, the Z has a T, and the X has the Sa. Anyway. Yeah, and then anyone can put that on their computer. It's just a toggle. All right. There's like one. There's got to be like one guy subscribed to the channel, and thank you for that one guy who's like watching all of these, because I know somebody is, and I think he's great. He's gonna be like, convert the stuff already. Come on, man, you're killing me. Or maybe he's really into this part. I don't know. So going back to the story of the adventure real fast. Now, Brissa Santos has said to Vanthus, we're gonna rip off. We're gonna steal from the pirates. And he goes to this place called Kraken's Cove, and he gets to the pirates, and he's like, yep, I'm gonna kill all you guys, and I'm gonna take all your treasure. Except one of these treasures was a pearl that, when it breaks, unleashes this abyssal plague, which leads to fighting and killing Demogorgon. I'm not sure you actually... It's the actual Demogorgon, not like an aspect of Demogorgon or the avatar of Demogorgon, but Demogorgon. Thank you, Stranger Things, for doing what you did to Demogorgon. I'm sure there are other people that love that. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. Ellen Vecna too. Oh God, what did Stranger Things do? I only ever watched the first season, so I don't know. Actual factual, Shia Demogorgon. It's two Shia LaBeouf's heads. All right, what was it? So then the players arrive at Kraken's Cove. They're chasing down Vanthus, and everything's gone to hell. And it brings us to our first set piece, which is they're descending this walkway down to the Kraken's Cove, and a burning ship, boom, careens in the side of it, smashing it. And I was determining if I wanted to make that a hazard or not, and I think I'm settling on not making it a hazard. Just putting all the mechanical stuff, just like in 3.5, in line. I don't love it, but I mean, I like hazards, but hazards require a lot of things. Like, one, players to interact with it in some way, and this has zero interaction. And two, like, consequences that make sense. It really doesn't work. So what was I doing? There. Perception to notice it happening, and gives time to react. Time to react. I'm gonna say like 1 round. See, I talked about this before. Somebody noticing it, and if you give them a round to react, immediately that person's gonna be like, "Hey, everybody else, look at this thing. We should skedaddle." You can't make it like, okay, you passed perception, so you get to act. While the other guy's standing on the walkway like, "Guys, why are we all running real fast all of a sudden? What's that sound? Sounds like a burning ship crashing into us." No, that's not. So that stuff this might be something that I clean up later. This is still a rough draft. I want to make the damage. I'm still going to treat the damage like a hazard, despite it not being a hazard. Going to be bludgeoning damage and fire damage and damage from the fall, which is about anywhere between 15 to 10 points from where it's at. So let's look at the simple damage in the averages. At level 3, averaging 24. Hoo-yah! Well, because adding 15 to that starting off is already a lot. And I can see that in the original here, they were keeping this damage what I would consider low. You just get smacked by a boat, and you take 1d6 fire damage, and then you hit the water. Admittedly, hitting the water would be about, 4d6 back then? And your life total is so much lower. Yeah. And there's all these ways to mitigate it. 3.5. What a fun time. I really loved playing 3.5. And I then played 4th edition. And I played 4th edition. I enjoyed it. Sort of. Not really. Yeah, Depth of the Water versus the Fall kind of negates it. Yeah. I talked about falling onto water. Obviously, you can go in, but you can still die. And I was thinking, like, I had written in right here, non-lethal. Just non-lethal the whole thing. And then, like, but there's definitely a case to be made for, like, reduce the fall by 20 feet. You know, reduce the fall damage. Yeah, so I played 4E for about, I don't know, maybe, so I willingly played 4E for about a year. And I say willingly because after that I had one player that loved 4E. It was just his favorite system. So he'd just build groups and then say, I have a GM. And then he'd come to me and be like, hey, I have a group. We want to play 4E. Will you run it? And I would because, you know, hey, bad pizza is better than no pizza. But also, like, I was like, I can find a way to make this work for me. And one of the things that was really tough when 4E first came out was inflated hit points for monsters, which they addressed with the Essentials line. It's that monsters, it wouldn't be like, you know, 3 rounds of combat is what we're kind of used to in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And we might even be getting there in the original 4th Edition. I don't remember exactly. But the problem was that combat fell off very quickly in terms of fun. It became a grind because you'd go, okay, I have a daily, I have an encounter, and I have an at-will power. Obviously, this is an encounter. I go in, boom, use that encounter power. Then, at will. And then, at will. And then, at will. And if they're still alive at the end of it, you're like, all right, it's my turn again. I do the thing. You know I'm doing the thing. Like, come on, let me do the thing. And it felt like, okay, this is a slog. And then you have that daily power, which is so tempting to use. It's your most powerful attack. It's so cool. But then you just save that until you get to the boss. And then you do, and you're like, all right, I use my daily. Then I use my encounter, and then I use my at will, and then my at will, and then my at will. Like, the loop was not entertaining tactically. And then you would really hope that the setting got really, really awesome and great, but what they had to do was tear down a lot of setting. Forgotten Realms got the Spell Plague. They moved from Greyhawk to the Points of Light setting, which I think a lot of people still really like the Points of Light setting. I didn't really get into it. Then they gave us the 4th edition Eberron, which, yeah. I mean, Eberron, possibly one of the best campaign settings ever made. Thank you, Keith Baker. And then we very briefly got a Dark Sun in 4th edition, which is very strange. Because Dark Sun in 4th edition, I feel like, should not... I don't know what the heck. When 4th edition stopped being fun for me, that's when I moved over to Pathfinder 1st edition, like so many, and I've been there ever since. After really talking to my players and being like, guys, it's 3.5, just different. Yeah, but in 3.5, I could have a maximized empowered Cat's Grace. And I was like, okay, yes, you could bullshit break the game, but this would be fun too. Oh, God. Having a player go, and I add 8 charisma to my sorcerer. It's like, I hate you, man. Why are you doing that? All right, I was gonna come up with a hazard damage here. If I lower that fall damage, let's say I lower that fall damage by 20 feet, so it goes from potentially 15 damage to potentially 5 damage, because we're talking about falling about 30 feet. 5 damage, okay. Now I can kind of work with that a little bit more. 19. What would give us, what's 5 dice? 5 dice, I'm sorry, D10s. If I do D10s, it gives us an average of about 5.5 for each die. I want to get up to 20. 2d10 bludgeoning, 2d10 fire. Boom. Hey. Sorry. Did a lot of mental math here, but I'm feeling that's going to be kind of, and this is still rough draft. So that feels kind of right. 2d10 bludgeoning, 2d10 fire. for not escaping the boat, which hits what I'm ostensibly calling areas B and C. So we have A, B, C as our center 50-foot stretch, A being the 25-foot, and boom. Yeah, it's one of these things where it's like, I think I could probably talk this all out, but it's just going to go faster up here. And I don't know. So we're going to average, what is that? Make sure. 11, 22, averaging about 27 damage if you're falling from the highest point, or averaging 22 points of damage, which falls in line with a level 3 hazard-ish. Right there in the middle. Hey! You know what's funny? As an art teacher, I of course went to college with other artists, and especially as a teacher, you have to pass the teaching exams, and you have a general teaching and then a specific content teaching exam, and the general exam requires art knowledge math knowledge as well, just to prove that you are like mentally competent, which to me says basic math. So I show up for the math test, and every other art teacher I know is stressing. Oh my God, it's math. We can't do math, and apparently this is a thing. And it's okay if you're not good at math, by all means. So many artists have trouble with math, but which never made sense to me because the opposite seems to be true, where I mathematically plot out a lot of my drawings and go proportionally and like what percentage this is going to take up of the space, this. And almost everyone I know either barely passed or failed that math section. I will never understand artists and math. Very frustrating to me. But I blame a lot of D&D growing up for like quick math. Oh, I don't need a calculator for this. It's just averaging. It's easy. All right, walkway hazard. Kind of in the bag, I think. This is now gone, but we do have the catch an edge, grab an edge. So I'm just gonna put a grab an edge. Reflex, it should be DC 18 at level 3. And if I want to make that like easy or hard, it's not really reducing damage that much anyway. Like I said, it's going to be, if we're dropping it by 20 feet, it's going to be like reducing it 5 damage or 0 damage. So, okay. Walkway hazard, done, so to speak. We've done all this. Psych degree. Yeah, that's interesting. Anybody with any other degree than what I've got is so much more fascinating than what I've got. Because, like, it's sort of that seeing how the sausage is made, and I'm like, oh, art education. Yep, I get it. Boring. Anything else? I'm like, wow, tell me more about this thing that you were interested in and you paid money for. I don't want to talk about mine. My shit sucks. All right. Oh, right. I'm looking through what I wanted to do today. We got all this. This is all done. And I made Crenshars. I want to make sure. Oh, Crenshaw. Savage Crenshars. Yeah. Crenshars from 3.5. They were so popular, and then they just never really... I don't think we got them in the OGL, so I don't think we could use them. These beans are sitting here waiting to be eaten, but I forgot to unshell them. Oh, it's tormenting me. Unless I do a stream where I just unshell beans. No. I am going to need to get some water, though, for a second. Again, 3.5. We've got a whole NPC block that we have to convert. I say have to. We do not have to convert it. Unnecessary. Oh, it's so funny you say that. Color theory is like my one thing I love more than anything else. And I try and teach it to my son, and my wife's like, she's like, I don't know that stuff. I'm like, I can explain it. Son, what's the complementary color to this cool blue? Huh? And she's like, stop, please. He's 2. I'm going to get some water real fast. I'll be right back. My throat is parched. All right. I remember in college, my professor said to me once, he showed me essentially, like, not quite this, but like a gray. And he had just swatches and swatches of gray. And he was like, I want you to determine whether these are cool grays, warm grays, and what colors complement them best. And I was like, oh, so this is just what my life has become. I can never tell if he hated me or loved me. 10 years ago now. Like, more than that. All right. What we want to do, we have a festival. I did want to make rules for this festival because these are very loose rules that the Savage Tide here has. Essentially, players show up and they're navigating their way back to the manor. After this, they fight off these pirates. And there's a festival going on, except the festival doesn't do anything. It doesn't hinder the players. It's just set-piece encounters, which are good, but it doesn't. There's no stakes to them. You can ignore them. You can fight through them. You could do anything. There's zero stakes for them, which I don't enjoy as a design. It's like, I much prefer it when it's like, oh, because we did this, it slowed us down, and we lost this. Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is the most interesting set piece here. Okay, first off, we've got a drawing for it. You get attacked by Stiltwalkers and an acrobat. The Stiltwalkers have flaming knives. Well, they don't have flaming knives. They have alchemist fire. This is such a cool set piece. And you're getting attacked by Rowan Kalani's family to get revenge for destroying the Thieves Guild. Cool. Development. It takes the City Watch a few minutes to respond to the attack, giving the players time to become scarce. Sure. If they remain at the fight, everyone's just like, yeah, the players are defending themselves. It's okay. And the players let them go after a few minutes of questioning. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. Legal action is a bureaucratic nightmare, blah, 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 blah. I don't care too much about that. However, why note any of this? Because the next section, there is no mention of what goes wrong if it takes you too long. There's no mention of any of this hindrance playing any role in Part 4. Frogs in the house. So what we're going to have to do is come up with something to give the boggards, something to give the bullywugs to benefit from players that are getting held up throughout the adventure. I mean, there's three. There's a gnome that's drunk and starts to pick a fight with him, and along with his half-orc barbarian friend. This feels very 3.5-y, where it's like, haha, it's a gnome warrior. You could easily beat him up. But his friend is a level 5 barbarian. You know, this could change. I don't want to turn this into just another combat encounter. I like an encounter that can turn into combat. Then there's an ale cart that goes free and starts going, rumbling along the roads and can smash. Again, none of it has any like actual stakes. So I will get to that one. That, I think, is going to take a little bit longer than I've got for the stream in terms of, like, agonizing over details. It's so weird to me because I was like, oh, bullywugs. And I immediately like, I know Pathfinder has bullywugs. I'm looking all over and I was like, oh, right, they're boggards now. And I can't get bullywug. I can't get even however many long years after 3.5, I cannot get like OGL thoughts out of my head. And with also, fun thing, Savage Tide, we will have to convert a Mind Flayer. Will we have to convert a Mind Flayer? I think so. I believe it's 3.5. There was like, legally they had to include a Mind Flayer or a Beholder into everything. I feel like there's a Mind Flayer in here. Not this adventure, but one of them. All right. What I do want to do today, I have my notes. All right. We have got. Oh yeah, that's what I noted. If you've played the PFS game Escaping the Dead, there is something like this that penalizes you for time use. I don't think it's a perfect explanation or a perfect description of it, but I might want to use that as reference. Stats for Stiltwalkers. Yep. We should make some Stiltwalkers. I did not know what kind of encounter I wanted to make this. I think this should be a severe encounter. It's a cool set piece. It's dangerous. It should also be the only real fight that the players have before they make it to the Lavinia, the Vanderboren Manor. Oh. So, I just noted. Yeah, Frogs in the Manor. The players should be level 4 at part 4. Do I want them to be part 4, or be level 4 as they're going through here? Because, yes. 6, not that the CR stuff, even at 3.5 was always broken. CR4, blah, 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 blah. Encounter levels. I've talked about this before. I think that the players should be level... I'll do the math later. I'll do the math later on where the experience where they should be at the end of exploring Kraken's Cove. I'm going to say level 4. Severe 4. So let's build an encounter. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's super early here, super late there. I hope that work goes well. And I do hope you enjoy yourself. And stop by anytime. And if you're on the server, see you there, man. Enjoy yourself. And thanks for stopping by. This is really fun. I will be on this for the next several months, I think. Thanks. All right. Now back to this encounter. Making a severe encounter. 120. Notes. All right. Notes out for 120 XP. This has 6 Stilt Walkers, and our level 4. What's her name? Diamondback. If I do 6 level 2 creatures, that would be the entire encounter. Out of curiosity, let's do 6 level 15s. There's 90 experience. Or sorry, 6 level 1 creatures. 90 experience. So I'd need another 30. Oh my god. Another 30. So, and a level. Okay, hold on. If we have 6 level 1 Stilt Walkers, this feels like a very uncool ambush. So I'm already thinking about taking away 6. Like that number 6, interesting as it is, that would leave us with a single level 3 acrobat, dancer, monk sort of thing, and 6 level 1 knife throwers, which goes back to that 3.5 design of like overwhelming players with numbers, not so much like tactics and abilities. All right, what if we jump that number down from 6 Stilt Walkers to 4? Let's see. 4 level 2 gives us 80 experience. Okay, here's what we're looking at. We have 4 level 2s, and we have a level 4. I don't really hate that. And a level 4 Diamondback. Okay. So, what that says to me, it's not the worst, is it? It's not the worst. So, it's a difficult-ish fight. But as a severe, it's on the weaker end of things. Because players are going to be essentially hitting and landing all of their attacks. And they're going to essentially get to do what they want to do. This will be further complicated by the fact that while they're fighting in this crowd, there's going to be difficult terrain. There's going to be who knows what. So we might even be able to turn that into a hazard. No. Maybe. No. Maybe. In terms of, like, all right, hear me out. While I'm talking, just entirely random thoughts. A hazard of difficult terrain, where the player's taking very minor bludgeoning damage from people pushing and shoving past, that the Stilt Walkers are immune to because they're on stilts. Okay? And the players can then disable or disperse the crowd with intimidation or diplomacy or some other effect. Also, great time for that bullhorn cantrip. The one player at your table who's like, I need to have the bullhorn cantrip. Hey, could play. You could say, hey, yeah, you get yourself a circumstance bonus with that. Cool thinking. Ooh. I do kind of like that. I do kind of like that. I'm going to go back to the original, see what's written here. Panicked crowds fill the square. They can move through the crowd with these. They can treat it as difficult terrain. Look, it's there. We have a reason. We are justified in creating a hazard for that. Maybe I just really want to make a hazard today, everybody. Look at this. I put crowd rules for combat. I'm going to say make a hazard. Diplo. Intimidate. Intim. To disable. Okay. Difficult terrain. Minor bludgeoning. Boom. Easy. Yeah. This would be a complex. Cool. Alright. Let's make some level 2 stilt walkers. First off, 4 stilt walkers. Whoa. Stilt walkers. Level 2. Easy. Okay. Diamondback. Say level 4. There. Easy. Alright. And we don't need the Savage Crenshaw anymore. Alright, so let's start with... Oh, I have a bunch of... Look at all these unnames. Creature 7. What was I making? Alright. These are called... Are they just called Stiltwalkers? Stiltwalker. Cool. Cool name. Slippery Eel's Revenge. We're already getting rid of that. I have... Can you guys tell that my energy is suddenly flagged? I'm like, oh, I'm tired now. I'm tired. I need more. I didn't eat. I'm just drinking. But I've got a date tonight, so I'm so excited. Stiltwalkers are level 2. They're going to be our ranged fighters. Sniper doesn't feel right. Skill Paragon. That's interesting. Skill Paragon, Dex. I am liking that. They are, well, I'm going to say chaotic neutral is my guess. Because they're, well, I wouldn't need Rin anymore. Chaotic neutral, boom, called it. All right. So proud of myself. All right, medium humanoid. I will note right away, right off the bat, so I don't forget it, that they have stilts. And we'll have to make some stats for stilt. Not stats, but some mechanical benefits. And deficits. Like I said, they can be easily, like, pushed over. Like, I've got stilts on. I'm the king of the battlefield. Oh, God. Shove attack. You know, you've been shoved, you immediately get critical failure. Oh, yeah, probably if you're shoved. Now, the critical failure would be getting pushed back 10 feet, falling prone. Get to that later. They've got daggers for throwing, and they've got Alchemist Fire. I kind of want to give them the juggle feat, or access to the juggle feat. Like some, or some version of it. If you haven't seen it, juggling essentially lets you count everything in the air as in your hand, which isn't all that interesting unless you've got like a really, really specific build for this. You don't see people making juggle build rogues nowadays. I don't even think people made it when it came out in Extinction Curse. I say that, but my experience is only like the 50 or 60 so people on the server, so maybe juggle is a meta build that everyone's really into. Okay. Stilts. I'm going to say, how many daggers do they have here? They had 4? Keep it 4. Doesn't matter to me. Dagger 4. Are they formatted like this? Maybe. Alchemists. Oh. Minor alchemists. Fire. Boom. Oh, immediately I'm like, hold on, I gotta look at damage. Alchemists. Fire. Oh, okay. See, minor isn't even a thing. Yeah, give them lessers. Give them some lessers. That's fine. Lesser Alchemist Fire. 2. So these guys can keep, we'll say 6 things in the air at once. This stops them from having to draw and throw. That's okay with me. Adding more stuff in. Juggle. That's a general. That's a general. Does Juggle have any traits here that are interesting? Concentrate? Yeah, all of these. Concentrate, manipulate, yeah. Concentrate, manipulate. Boom. Excuse me. Oh, here it is. All right. What's the wording of this? Because I want to obviously just cut this down. Da, 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 da. Boy, okay. So juggling, really treat any object in the air as though it's in your free hand. Correct? Yeah. Until the end of your turn, unless it's essentially got a concentrate action on it. Yeah, let's see. Okay. I'm wondering if we can cheat around that, because if it's like every turn they're using up an action to keep juggling, and you know, juggle, throw, juggle, throw, juggle, throw. That's interesting, but it's also like not exactly a good action economy for them. Might give them like a in their wording, seasoned juggler. Is that professional juggle. Da, 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 da. All right. I'm just curious if we can even take that off. Okay. I'm gonna put it in line that takes an interact action to add something into the mix. The Stiltwalker throws an object into the air, catching it with the other with ease. While in the air, in this way, they may treat the object as though it were in a free hand. A Stiltwalker may have as many as 6 items in the air at once in this way. Now, quick juggler note, it is incredibly hard to go from even numbers to odd numbers when juggling. This is 100% a real thing, because as if I had not been showing off my dorky knowledge enough, as you may have seen on another stream, whoa, I am a juggler, okay? And when you juggle 3 things, or odd numbers of things, you make an X pattern, okay? You go from one hand to the... You can do that classic circle, like that clowns you see on like illustrations of clowns and stuff, but it's incredibly different from what you do with an even number of things. I'm trying to think if I've got anything that I could juggle. Oh boy, that's sharp. A lot of things. A bean? Haha! Bring it all full circle. Oh my god, this is way too small. So when you juggle an even number of things, you actually use 2 hands in separate patterns from each other to make the illusion that you're juggling together. I'm not watching the stream to see if anyone saw that. But now, which would mean that if I'm juggling and I throw one of my balls, or in this case, dagger, at somebody, I now have to shift the hands to catch. I think I could probably do what's called like a Mills mess and catch and just move into something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not that good of a juggler. That was my own little aside that got me to play with beans. In this way. To add the Stiltwalker must use an interact action to add an, see, putting it, yeah, add a light, add an item of light bulk or less into their juggle. It's called a cascade. I don't want to put into their cascade because it doesn't make any sense. Into their juggling. To their juggling pile. Into their juggled items. Into their list of juggled items. Alright, the Stillwalker throws an object in the air, catching with the other with ease. I don't like that phrasing. Catching it in the other. Yeah. Catching it in the other with ease. While in the air this way, then we treat the object as though it were in a free hand. A Stiltwalker may have as many as 6 items in the air at once in this way. Stiltwalker was used an interactive action to add an item of light bulk or less to their list of juggled items. No actions are required to continue juggling in this fashion. Okay? As a player, that's really powerful. As an NPC, it does not matter. As a player, that's just, I have 6 arms at all times so long as they're occupied by light items or less. Light bulk items or less. Which, making sure our alchemist fire is, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I know daggers are. Cool. That's, I don't think we need to add anything more to Stiltwalkers. That's really it. That's, it's silly, but it's really fun. I don't want to give them 5 freaking decks. I want to give them a little bit, yeah, always get into adjusting these numbers like they mean something. They don't. There. These guys are these. That looks fine. Professional juggling. They're throwing knives and alchemist fire at people. This is fun. I like this as an opponent. Again, let's compare here. That's all they did. That's all that they would do in 3.5. They're level 1 rogues. We'll give them sneak attack. I'm okay with that. Sneak attack, deception, performance. We'll make them charisma-y. Cool. I am weirdly in love with these characters. Okay. Wonder if I should... Yeah. No dark vision, none of that. Acrobatics, sure. Oh, this is the first time I've seen them actually adjust these. And I guess it comes for the skill paragons. Huh. Okay. 4, 2, 8. Yep. I mean, those are the numbers I wanted to keep them at. So cool. Deception, we'll go down a little bit lower. We'll go down to 6. I'm okay with that. I don't care about this diplomacy for them. Athletics, no. That's not what we're doing with them. We'll give them some performance. Give them 6. And we'll give them thievery just to make them look normal. Okay. Yeah. And sneak attack. Sneak attack. Where? Okay. Why can I not write? The Stiltwalker deals 1d6 extra precision damage to flat-footed creatures. Ta-da! None. This feels so much more interesting. I'm thinking. Yeah, okay. I always get weird about the what's it called? Formatting. My brain is stopped. Oh no! Alright, I'll do a few more stat blocks and I'll probably stop soon because my brain is tired and I have so much work to do around the house. And I also spent most of this conversion just chatting. I feel like the stilt should lower their speed. It doesn't. I'm gonna lower the speed. Okay? Because I've worn stilts. You can't race people with them. But if I lower it by too much, it negates the point of them ignoring difficult terrain. Right? Lowering it by 5, yeah, sure. These guys will essentially get to spend their entire turns, maneuvering themselves in the good positions, throwing daggers when they're at close range, throwing alchemist fire at long range. Long-ish range. That's really fun. We'll make a note. We'll have to make stilts. I think I have a note here to make stilts. Likewise, rules for stilts. Can't attack without reach. Ranged weapon. Done. Yeah. Alright. And we just make the attacks, and I think we really don't need to do anything else with the stilt walkers. Yeah. That feels right. Where's my attacks? I've already forgotten. Here we go. I'm curious. Actually, we should give him a kick. Put the shove trait on it. Yeah, it's gonna be the low damage. 1d4. 1d6 plus 3. 1d6 plus 2. I'll accept 1d6 plus 2. It's like a club. Bludgeoning. Ta-da! Alright, and it's not. I think I can even get away with keeping that at low attack. Well, if I'm giving this shove. I'm going to be talking myself into stuff. If I'm giving this shove, let's give him athletics. So maybe that's something they will be doing. Shoving people away. And making space in the combat. Yeah. Alright, armor class at level 4. 5. Okay. 419 plus, let's say trained. 21. 21 armor class. I'm missing something. Yeah, 2 for raised shield. Let's get up then. Let's get up to moderate. It's not crazy. Dagger. Ranged. Bomb. Okay. We could even probably give him more different kind of stuff there, but alright, let's make that. That might be too high for. These are level 2. Let's look at another level 2 creature real fast. I don't do this too often, but I just want to make sure I'm not going overboard here. Where are the creatures? I don't want to go too overboard with stuff. 2 to 2. Let's. Not a corpse light. And giant crab. Alright. What do our attacks look like? 9, sure. 11 here for our lizard, which really. Okay. 10? Okay. Yeah. Alright. This is feeling. I'm feeling kind of justified in going 11 with their daggers. 10. Maybe if I am feeling really bad about this, 10 might not be the wrong way to go. Just one more real fast. Bloodminder. 11. Yeah. 9 might be is looking low. It's looking where I don't want to go 9, which is good for the kick. I'm okay with this. Agile, finesse. What else we got on the dagger? It's a thrown. Thrown 10 feet. Yep. Versatile S. Okay, thrown 10 feet. Versatile S. Done. Now, this damage is actually really not going to be all that high. But if I can get to that 6, that's where I feel good. I don't like justifying. I don't like justifying this stuff here. Because I have to add something to it, but I can't. I rules as written. Absolutely, I can. Uh, uh, Now, adds their strength. Yeah, just like a melee. You know what? Sure. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm okay with giving that 1d4 plus 2. Super low damage, incredibly low damage. For a level 2 creature. We are going to get that sneak attack. So the damage kind of goes up to the average. It's okay. It's okay. Varies by bomb is how it should be written. But I don't know that I really am going to keep that. These are all 30. What? Wait a minute. How? 20 feet or is it 30 feet? Bomb range is... Hold on. Okay, you know what I can look up? You know what I can look up? Bombs. Just like this. A chemical bomb. Trait. Varies. No. No, I can't. Okay. Are they 30 feet? Oh, 20 feet. There we go. Thank you. There we are. 20 feet. Yeah. Okay. I'm tempted to give him more different types of bombs. Like 2 daggers, 2 alchemist fire, and 2 thunderstones. This feels more in line with or bottled lightning. Sorry, not bottled. Yep. I like that a lot more. So now they have a lot more options. It makes that juggle look more interesting. 2 lesser alchemist fire, 2 lesser bottled lightning. Yep. Okay. Lesser bottled lightning 2. All right. Cool. Still daggers, lesser alchemist fire, lesser bottled lightning. Cool. Now they have a way to also enable themselves and others to get sneak attacks without having to rely on their feigning, which could work. There is a part of me to further complicate this. This is already complicated. I was going to say give them like a performance. If they can use perform to feign, and if they do so, they can step as an action. But that seems unnecessary. As flavorful as that could be and interesting for that flavor, that seems unnecessary for something that's already this kind of jam-packed. Do we need to do anything else here? I don't think so. This looks good for a mook. We will have to kind of determine what exactly. Let me get rid of all this mess that I've made here. We got a lot to determine when it comes to stuff. All right, Stiltwalker, done and done. In the bag. All right, let's see what else we got. We do have Diamondback to do. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. It's 1:30 here. Almost everyone else is asleep. In the times this would be good for streaming. And obviously the thing I love most about streaming is talking to people. And the YouTube is just there for people that really want to, I don't know, really are interested in seeing all this stuff go. Diamondback. There we go. Diamondback. And she's going to be our level 4 Battle Bard. Is she evil? No. I like Diamondback. Just as a character, I just think she's obviously underdeveloped. She is going to be our Skirmisher. You know what I probably forgot to do? I'm sorry, it just kind of dawned on me. Where's our Stiltwalker? Nope, they have common. Cool, good job, me. Diamondback. She's going to be our Skirmisher. I want her to be a monk. Somewhat. So let's look at her again real fast. She's the battle dancer. Oh, what notes did I make about this? Because I did. Flurry of blows, repositioning dance, and combat maneuvers. Okay. Reading that out loud reminds me of the brawler from what was it? Was it Ultimate Combat? No, not Ultimate Combat. The Advanced Class Guide from first edition. And the brawler was essentially the fighter monk. You got all the fun stuff of the fighter, which was like changing around your feats. Or no, I'm sorry. Your core mechanic was changing around your feats. And while also having the fun monk stuff of flurrying. I want to get somebody that she's in the thick of things. She's lightly armored. Obviously, she's wearing a skeleton leotard. Obviously, keeping the flurry of blows, and I want her to control the battlefield while her Stiltwalker allies juggle things into people's necks. Okay. Cool. How do we do that? How do we do that? High strength, high dexterity, fine constitution. Now we're going to start dropping some stuff. Okay. It feels downright rude to take away her charisma because she's essentially going from a bard. Like, yeah, charisma 18. Like, she was a real dum-dum. I'm okay with taking those down. A real dum-dum. Probably don't need that up that high. I want to keep... I know that in the base stats, in the unconverted, her strength was low. She was getting by with knocking people around this way and like flurries of hits, and we're sticking with that. But I want there to be some strength behind them. I'm okay with these stats. Yeah. All right. So first off, I know we're going to be keeping this in, keeping flurry of blows. And we're going to be keeping in... let's give her... It's not that she's going to be not hindered by the crown, but less hindered. 40 feet speed. Cool. Can justify. Give her 35 feet. 35 foot speed. A little quicker so she can maneuver around. Repositioning dance. I'm trying to think of how I want to... Athletics is going to be crazy high. Crazy high. 11 is where I'm going with that. The reason for that is I'm essentially saying she's level 4. She's expert in athletics. Bumps that to 8. With her plus 3 strength, 11. You, again, do not have to justify these things. I'm doing it because I have brain problems. Cool. Love having brain problems. We are still going to keep up with the... Obviously, she is acrobatic as all get out. She is an acrobat. And I'm okay with... She's a rogue. She's like rogue, monk, fighter. Throw them all together. I'm okay with that essentially being expert level 2. And this cannot be as much. Performance. 8. Okay, she's still a performer. Cool. I'm okay with these things. Let's give her some intimidation. I don't think I've touched too many intimidation stuff because I get so tired of it all the time where it's like, oh, they have good intimidation. I'm going to use that before they attack. Sure. I should note humanoid human. Right. Trait. Let's just find a monster with it. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. In that... Oh, here we go. Yeah, no, that we've got... Yeah, humanoid. Yep. Cool. I won't put that for the Stiltwalkers just because they can be anything. You know, we've got half elves, we've got half orcs. You know, we've got orcs and dwarves and goblins, whatever. They can be whatever is can be a Stiltwalker. Just, that's fine. There. All right. Flurry of blows. Obviously, we've got to give her unarmed strike. And she's going to be the big damage dealer. Let's just call it fist. And she is going to be brutal. Yeah, do I just want to keep these just as is? I might. Agile, finesse, non-lethal. I'm missing something, I know it. Unarmed. Well, yeah, alright. Okay. Right now, as it is, this is a character that it essentially works. I'm not sure that it's a very powerful character. So we want to do more with that. Diamondback. Okay, makes 2 fist strikes against. What's the wording? What's the wording? Let's find a creature that has it. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh yeah, almost forgot the flourish. That's actually quite important. That's very important. Suddenly you're getting 6 attacks on a guy right next to you. Da-da-da. Diamondback. Yep. Alright, and it needs that flourish. Yeah. For those of you who haven't been paying attention to traits, flourish allows you can only get 1 flourish action a turn, which stops you from doing I stride into range and flurry into somebody, which is very painful. Now, I like the idea of her having a reaction to dodge out of the way of stuff. I mean, look at her here. Look at her just kicking butt. And it could kind of replicate this AC bonus that she's got. Dance of Reckless Bravery is just silly. It doesn't help here in the encounter, and it doesn't help in 3.5. This is very silly. I think what they're really showing off is Dragon Compendium. Was this a compendium of Dragon Compendium. I think it was Dragon Magazine. Yes, totally is. Everything that was made in the Dragon magazines. Almost assuredly. Wow, look at that. Interesting. Yeah, in a way they were kind of like, oh look, can you get these on Paizo, you clever bastards. You clever, I don't know what that is, but yeah, just a way to sort of advertise for their Dragon Compendium. And Dragon released so much stuff every month that it was really bad and unhealthy. That it was just like someone would show up at the table and be like, I've never seen this prestige class before. Oh, you didn't read Dragon issue 294? Ha! I guess you must not be a real fan because I've broken the game with ways they did not anticipate. So, yeah, no, it was really cool and great at the time, and it fit into design mentalities of 3.5, but it's insane to think they could do that. I was going to say that they could do that now, but we also have the comics that come out that have more material in the back of them. It just, they tend to be a bit more, 1, slower in coming out, 2, a little more, they're following a design Bible, clearly. All right. This is, oh my gosh, this is also probably why these stats are so high. All right. I really want her to have a reaction to dodge something. Yeah. I'm going to call it Battle Dancer. Give her a little nod to what she was. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. Here's the thought. Trigger. If Diamondback... This is very interesting in terms of, it's probably a bad idea, but let's see. Diamondback is struck by an attack that she can see. Okay. Effect. This is interesting. I was going to say, ready? She rolls performance and treats that as her new AC. Here's how that's cool. You get that her armor class is 20. She'd have to roll at least a 12 to get up to her own AC, and it gives her like a second chance. It also gives her a chance to dance into it. Whoops. Dance into it and get critically hit instead. Then I was like, well, maybe I make it treat her armor class as 23 using acrobatics. But then we're just going back to like we've made nimble dodge. Because I feel like dancing in combat, hey, you could wander into a blow. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with this, and I think it's not a great idea, but it's a fun, interesting. It could be interesting. Diamond back. Whoops. Rolls. A performance check and treats the result as her AC for the triggering attack. Okay. That's a bit more interesting than just, plus 2 AC. This gives us maybe worse AC at the end of the day, but it gives her a second chance to dodge stuff. Keep her in the fray a little more. That's fun. I want to give her something more here, though. As it stands, she's just a monk. And I don't think reposition. I had noted repositioning strike. I don't think it. I'm imagining, a wide area in which it's filled with all these people trampling back and forth and creating difficult terrain, while the stilt walkers are throwing knives and everything. Her repositioning doesn't really do anything there. Yeah, the battle dancer. Okay, I like that. Oh, is there something I can do? Something we can do here. Kind of gets into that dancey bit. Interesting. Okay. What if we just gave her sneak attack? Is that too much? Sneak attack on a monk flurrying of blows? I'm actually kind of looking back and going, that's not great. Let's look again. Let's look again at her. Dodge, mobility, improved unarmed strike, weapon finesse. Nothing there helps us. Not really. Dance, reckless bravery. Still love this artwork. You can see the kind of like half ogre here looking down. Give her Dance of Reckless Bravery back, except just turn it into like Inspire Courage for her allies. Yeah, I'm not in love with it. We're calling it the same thing. We're just changing it. Dance of Reckless Bravery. Let's look Inspire Courage real fast. Composition. Emotion, enchantment, mental. Yeah, I'm okay with keeping that. Keep all that, yeah. Mental, okay. Now, I'm going to tie it into performance again. She's really not good at performance, but what's a on level? Sorry. Level-based DC. On level for her? Yeah, 50-50 shot. That seems fair. Okay. Diamondback begins a... Oh, maybe turn it into kind of like a rage that sets her armor class down by 2. To her performance is just more of a coincidence than anything else. um, that rallies her allies to great heights. For the duration of the dance, all allies in 60 feet diamond back get a +1 status bonus to attack and damage rolls. Yeah. Increasing to +2. Nah, I don't know. That feels very strong. I was gonna say increasing to +2 when her battle dancer triggers. If she successfully dodges an attack with battle dancer. But I don't know that that's fair. Okay. Okay, when I'm gonna note this. Diamond Bay. Successfully an attack with Battle Dancer. The duration. Is extended until the end of her next turn. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. To the start of her next turn. Okay, it's extended. No. When Diane successfully attack with Battle Dancer, the duration is extended for an additional round. There. Okay. I don't even think I need to include the penalty now, because now she's encouraged to use Battle Dancer. GMs are encouraged to use Battle Dancer. Okay. Hey! Wait a minute, now this is a much more interesting encounter. I like that. Okay. Now she's got that bard bit where she's doing the bard thing of inspire courage, but it's tied into it's reckless. She has to use Battle Dancer, which can save her or not. And it frees up her action economy for all sorts of stuff. That is a much more interesting encounter all of a sudden. Well, I really like that. Not to pat myself on the back, that's cool. And it's not like cookie cutter, this is what it should be at this point, this is what it should do. I like that. I like that a lot. Boom. All right. Toss that over to my giant growing pile of things to edit later. All right. I need to use the bathroom. I need to get food in me. I have to clean up from this long trip this weekend. I was so happy to have Adrian and Rocky and all of their raid folks stop on by. That was a really nice treat for today. I hope we see him again, and we got him in the Discord. If anybody else out there wants to stop on by, check out the YouTube over at Azure M. The M is for masochistically doing this. Oh, God. And we're going to have a homebrew on Thursday. It should be a lot of fun. And if you're interested in doing play-by-post games, oh, my God, we've got a whole server. I just realized I was indicating and showing things off. We've got a server for play-by-post games, so please stop in a chat. See if you can get a link from me and join us for some games. We're having a lot of fun. We've got so much to do. And looking forward to doing this again on Thursday. So everybody, thank you again, and see you later. Bye-bye.